or for a freeway. Let's think about who? Let's think about what? Let's think about sluts. Do they know they're sluts? Let's find out. A disclaimer. You're a bitch, bitch. And you should feel like a bitch, bitch. Good cookies and wank on them. Give the icing. So sticky. You should fuck, you should fuck, you should fuck men again and again. Even on a phone, even on a dick, even on a bad day. Even on a phone, even on a dick, even on a bad day. I go bend over, slut the ass. I go bend over, slut the ass. I go bend over, slut the
I make all my songs live on Twitch. You can check that out in the link down below.
Hi, welcome. It's so good to see you. Settle in, everyone. We have a big old stream today. And we're going to have a big old stream tomorrow as well. And on Saturday, there's going to be a slight change of plans. We're not going to have the usual programming. Fuck off. So hang tight for that because I can't reveal anything just yet, but I will. I will as soon as I can tell you because I'm very, very excited about it. Also, let me get the music on. I've just got chat up so I can see all of you, which is nice. Hello, hello. Welcome in, Sonny and Mert and Juice and Cody. Thank you for hopping in. And Nova, it's good to see you all. I love that I know so many of you. Hi, Glenn. Like, I've actually spoken to you in Discord and stuff. It's so cool to have the kind of community that you can be this close with. And so good to see you. Thank you so much for the gifties. Thank you. If you just got gifted a sub, by the way, you should totally check out my Discord because you get a lot of free channels in there, but there are also some channels that are reserved just for the subscribers, and they are awesome. And you should go see what that's like while you can for free because someone was very generous and gave you a sub. So if you want to know what that is, if you're on Twitch, in my channel description, you'll find Dick, you'll find something. What will you find? Oh, you'll find the link to my Discord. If you go in there, you do have to find the rules channel, read the rules, and click the thing in order to see everything. We do that to whittle out the weirdos, so it's a nice place to be. So, pain in the ass, 5 seconds of your time, and then you're good. Manticore, thank you so much. I'm like, we hold events and stuff. We do things together. Sometimes we hold competitions with prize money. Sometimes we cook together. We have a workout group and we work out together. We do all sorts of cool stuff. And there's always people in there gaming for like 8 to 16 hours a day. I've seen chats. I've seen voice like VCs in there where people have been literally lurking in there and hanging out and playing games and just, you know, sometimes they drink together and have like mini parties and stuff. We have on Friday, we actually have, I believe, a dress up night. I think that's this Friday. Oh, we've got a Marvel Rivals. Oh, okay. So it's not when's the dress up? Oh, that's next Friday. So everyone has to suit up and wear their absolute best outfit for the VC. And usually people just get together and drink and laugh and play games and stuff and just have fun. Like cosplay? I don't know if it counts as cosplay to just like wear a suit or a nice dress. I kind of feel like if you feel like that's cosplay, I don't know, man. Like, I get it, because sometimes when I wear a dress, I feel like I'm in drag. Like sometimes I feel like I'm cosplaying as a woman sometimes when I wear like nice stuff. So if you mean like that, then maybe. But if dressing nice feels like cosplay, then being like, I don't know, a gentleman seems like a whole nother character to you, I guess. The Stallion 3, thank you so much for the bits. How was I swear? I want to see it so bad. But I live in the States. What? What? Wait, does Trump hate people with Tourette's as well? Like, how is that a barrier? Your time, my turn, thank you. And Salele, piss off. Thanks for the piss. Thanks for the bits. Piss! It's on Netflix in the States. Yeah, it's just on Netflix. You could see it. If you have a Netflix if you're on Netflix, you get it for free right now. Kevin Metal Music, thank you so much. How would a swear-a-thon work? What? Where did you get that, Peaks? Who said that? What's a swear-a-thon? I'm immediately intrigued because I think I might have a natural advantage. I'm not gonna lie. I might be made for this competition. Alright, I'm stealing it. Swear-a-thon. Hey! You found yet another calling. I may have. I'm not gonna lie. I'm bad at swearing. Oh, are you one of those people who goes, oh gosh darn. Well, isn't that a bit of a mischief? Well, there. When, like, I don't know, you see your entire family die in a fire in front of you. Are you that kind of person? Because I often wonder about that. I'm like, why would swearing be the worst thing that happens in this particular moment? Like, surely it couldn't get worse. You might as well indulge. A little bit of blasphemy never hurt anyone. Blasphemy is my favorite flavor. Yeah, I don't even know how to say fiddlesticks. I think this might be the first time I've ever said fiddlesticks in my life. What the fuck is a fiddlestick? It sounds like a euphemism for something I really don't want. What did you watch? I missed it mentioned Netflix. I watched I Swear. So I've been putting it off. I've been like, whoa, no. I really want to, and I'm curious as fuck, but also no. Because, people with Tourette's can catch tics and be triggered by other people having tics, which is something they cover in the movie in quite an eloquent way. I loved that. However, the issue with it was that I was like, I might catch a tic from this movie, and then people will think that I'm copying him to stay relevant, because I see other people with Tourette's come under flack for having my tics, and I'm like, oh, they've clearly seen my content, right? So, because there's like 6 women who are like emerging Tourette streamers right now who all just happen to go and all the time, and I'm like, I wonder where they got the idea to make content from. Anyway, not to bash them at all. I just think it's funny that how contagious it is. Like, I'm fine with it, to be clear, not roasting. I'm just saying that can happen. And then I saw the comments saying, oh, you're just copying Sweet Anita, you just want to be the next Sweet Anita. And I was like, oh, don't give them shit for that. It's not their fault. And in the same way, like it's not their fault that they caught a tic. That's just how it goes with Tourette's. It's not. It doesn't mean that they're copying me or trying to like be me or anything. And so I was like, fuck. If I watch I Swear, are people gonna think that I'm just emulating his tics so that people go, oh, I like that tic. I know, I've seen that tic before. That's my favorite tic. I'm so glad you have that tic or something. I don't know. I don't know how they think it works. So I was like, fuck. I don't want to tick shop this guy, but also. Another issue I had with it was like, it's going to be exhausting to watch this, and I'm going to tick loads. So do I really want to do that while I eat? Because I'll choke on my food. And I only ever really watch shows when I'm eating. So when am I going to find the fucking time to do this? So my friend came over. We went to a nice little museum, and afterwards I was like, do you want to watch I Swear with me? And we watched it, and he like cried, like he was welling up, and he was like, oh my god, and he was like rubbing my back and be like, I'm so sorry you had to go through all this, what the fuck? Because like everything that I saw in I Swear, it felt like a biography. I can relate to most of the situations, pretty much all of them, that he's been in. I've never been arrested or taken to court for a tic, but I have been beaten the fuck out of and woke up in like the medic room of the school with broken bones because of tic-induced incidents with other people and just not being understood, and it completely fucking up my education and my aspirations for the future as well. Like, he aspired to be something and he had that all taken away by his Tourette's. And the fact that people around him just didn't understand what was going on with him. And I had that exact same thing, but with science. Like, I was really exceptionally good at science when I was a child. And my teachers were having a word with me saying, you know, this kid is pretty gifted. We think they're wasted at the school. Here's a brochure for a new school that she could go to where she would get the kind of education that matches her level. You know, I was completing lessons really quickly and being bored for like 90% of the time. My sketchbooks were full of more drawings than work because I would do all of the work in like the first 15 minutes and then just draw for the rest of the time to pass the time. So like I lost that whole future to this condition and the fact that nobody had any idea what was going on with me. My family didn't understand it as well, and I had a horrific time at home because of it. And, you know, unluckily, like, sadly for me, I never really found a refuge family that I could go to. I went through the suicidal part. I went through the lack of education, the loss of future dreams, finding it weird and finding a sense of purpose in the exact thing that had screwed my life. And then having to adapt to the condition and let the condition essentially decide how I do good in the world and where my sense of purpose was, because everything that I wanted to do intentionally would never really work out. But everything I did unintentionally was magically working out. And so, yeah, then I accidentally fell into being an advocate. And I feel like watching this movie, I was like, oh my God, I've been there. I watched the funeral scene and I was like, I've been there. You know, I watched the childhood scenes and I was like, fuck, I've been there. And I just watched everything step by step by step. And I think like where our stories diverge, weirdly, is that he had people around him who figured out what was going on and cared about him and gave him a lifeline. I never got that lifeline. But also, he got to meet lots of other people with Tourette syndrome and interact with them and help them. I did not meet anyone else with Tourette syndrome in person until well after I had started streaming. So, like, I really didn't have this lifeline. I mean, I had someone in my life who had subtle tics, but was heavily medicated, and there was barely any tics when I met him, and I was a child, and I didn't really understand what was going on at that time. And that was such a vague memory, it didn't really benefit me. And then, on top of all of that, I think it does a really, really good job of making people truly understand what it's like to be in that situation. And a lot of you will find a lot of the situations he's in really funny. And I think a lot of people are really gonna love that aspect of this story. I think the benefit with Tourette syndrome is a neurological condition that comes with a lot of bullshit, right? But people are gonna understand it better, specifically because it's entertaining to learn about. I think it's one of the core advantages of our condition and makes it so easy to get people's attention and get them learning is because people are interested in it. Like, if you scrolled onto a TikTok where someone talks about their violent IBS, I don't think it would be as easy to watch 5 to 10 minutes of content about IBS, for example, as it is for Tourette's, because it's so entertaining to people. There is an entertaining component to it. And I think that really benefited the show itself, and I think the show is going to do fucking wonders. I think that film is going to really make a massive, massive ass difference to so many people. And it opened my eyes to a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm a veteran, a Tourette's veteran. I've had it my entire life, and I have struggled with all this bullshit, right? And I learned things. One of the things I learned is because people were like, are you going to go to the boot camp where lots of people with Tourette's will get together? And I was like, no, why the fuck would I do that? I will just get set off. We will all set off. We will all tick at each other. It'll be like a box of frogs. I can't imagine being more exhausted. How would that benefit me? And then I watched the scene where they all get together, and he's like, for the first time in your lives, you are not the minority. You are the majority. And I was like, yeah, I could understand if when I was a kid, if this was an option, that would have meant so much to me. I'd have burst into tears at that. That would have been the most meaningful moment of my life if I was like 11 years old. So I was like, fuck. And also, I liked that he touched a little bit on the OCD component, because the OCD component really fucked with me as a child. I'd never heard of OCD, and it was a really big struggle for me. And it really messed with my life. Like, an under-recognized aspect of Tourette's is it's an amalgamation of a lot of brain damage. Like, you have the OCD components, the ADHD components. A lot of us have autism, autoimmune issues, and other health problems. And so, like, it fucks with you immensely. Your whole mind is in an atypical state that isn't catered for. So, like, it was nice to see a little bit of that. Um, So yeah, I loved the film. I loved the narrative on the top level. On the underside, though, there are things that I kind of really am curious about, and I understand why they didn't include it for entertainment's sake. But what people seem to forget about this particular person that it's all based on, bitch, is he has tits. He has tits. He basically spent his whole life from childhood being documented. There are clips, news articles, documentaries about his life with Tourette syndrome. He had a camera pointed in his face since childhood about this thing. Everyone was endlessly curious about it, centering it in everything he did and everywhere he went. And like he was being made famous as a child for this. And throughout his life, many documentaries were made of him, even when he was an adult. I didn't really see any kind of curiosity about me until I was much older and much more able to handle it. Like I protected myself. I did a lot of careful things to keep myself safe. And I was mentally prepared, and I made this decision to turn on the camera, knowing that there'd be a chance that people would speak negatively about me, that people would be annoyed by me, people would be angry. And I made that decision. I made it consciously. When you're a kid, you can't really make that decision for yourself. And I'm so curious, the next layer of this, everyone's curious about his Tourette's, and I'm curious about what it's like to be the center of like attention in the media because of it. Because to an extent, it fucks people up. I mean, we've seen people who were TV stars since childhood, and it messes you up. It hurts you deeply. It gives you psychological issues. It's not an easy thing to deal with, and it's a layer that wasn't included in the story at all. But yeah, I loved it. I genuinely loved it, and it didn't trigger me anywhere near my tits, anywhere near as much as I expected it to, which is amazing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I worked on I Swear. Oh, well, that's cool that you're here. How did you work on it? Like, what was your role? Thanks for including that. The mods specifically screenshot that to make sure I didn't miss your comment. I'm so glad they did that. Do you think that your condition was taken less seriously because you were a girl? I do wonder if that was a facet of it. So if you haven't seen Anthony Padilla, pizza, pithead, Pete's. Anthony Padilla interviewed me and a bunch of other people with Tourette syndrome, and you can see that a lot of like me and another girl were told it's probably not Tourette's. Even if it is Tourette's, I don't want to diagnose you with Tourette's. This kind of behavior, there was a reluctance to diagnose us. I do wonder if, the main character of I Swear was female, if he would have got diagnosed at all in childhood, because this issue started ruining my life in childhood and I didn't get a diagnosis, and many of us don't. A lot of women now are being told that you just must watch YouTubers and TV influencers who have Tourette's and must think it's trendy, and you're probably just copying it. And there's this inherent doubt in children who come forward with it, especially when they're girls, that I don't really hear a lot from boys. So when young girls come in, they're often called Evies after another girl with Tourette syndrome, who is a content creator, and they're dismissed for it. They're dismissed. And it's like, how would you tell the difference between someone who's emulating Tourette's and not? Because even doctors quite often misconstrue things. So they'll say, oh, I've seen that tick before. It's from an influencer. So you can't possibly have Tourette's. And it's like, tick swapping is an aspect of the condition. So like, how is that? How is that proof that it's not real? And I've gone through the list of things that makes a doctor doubt you. And it's like all actual like symptoms of the condition. Real ones that should be counted as proof that you have it, not proof that you don't. And so, yeah, I do wonder if there is this inherent doubt, because women take like 10 to 20 years longer to get diagnosed with things that men get diagnosed with in hours. So unfortunately, I do think we're experiencing a lot of this, and it's happened with every single condition ever. So with ADHD, women are more doubted than men. And initially, ADHD was thought to be a male condition. So was Tourette's, by the way, and autism. All three of these things were considered things that primarily affect males, and they weren't. They were just things that they would only diagnose in men because they didn't give a fuck about women. So yeah, there is a bias. It definitely exists, and it is frustrating to deal with. Absolutely. Autism had a 10-to-1 men to women diagnosis ratio at first, and now it's 3-to-1 already. Yep, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it looks like we're making progress, though. That actually sounds like progress to me. Oh, it's treats o'clock already. I'm so late. I'm so lucky that so many of you hopped in, despite me being so late. They thought it was just a male thing? Oh, that's so stupid. Yeah, there are whole books called things like Autism in the Male Brain, because they thought that it was just a condition that only affected males. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, let's see if the bunny cam is working. Oh, yes, it's running fine. It's time! Let me get the treats jar. The hogs are out. Hang tight. I'm just trying to find the treats jar because it's gone missing. I don't remember where I put it. Shit, it's just gone. Oh, I'm so excited and I have no idea where the fuck it is. Hello, Pete. Get under the desk and give Pete his one. Let's get under here, shall we? Can you see me? Is it EMP? So this is the little guy who's under me all of the time. Like all day, every day. Look at his whiskers going. My favorite thing in the world to watch is their little cheeks roll. Uh-oh, EMP. I do wonder why this. Oh, and now it's super fast. That's hilarious. Wonder what happens there. He's such a happy little guy. There we are. Now he's done. And we're gonna go back to this camera because I forgot to wear socks. So that's all you get, I'm afraid. It wasn't until recently that women got diagnosed with autism because the neural mapping for autism was only done in men, which made it harder to detect in women until now. All I can do is eye roll. Because it's making it look like men are at a disadvantage in healthcare, science, and historical accuracy. It's making it look like there's a historical thousands of years disadvantage in men where they just cannot accurately diagnose, document the history of, or like provide for 50% of the population. It looks bad on guys. I'm not saying it is bad on guys. I'm saying it looks bad on guys. So we need to fix that gap. Otherwise, men could lose their rights to certain jobs, you know? Hey, Saffron, thank you so much for the tip.
Can't say I'm a big fan of Tourette's because of all the mandatory DLC and microtransactions it comes with compared to the others.
It's a very good way to put it. Completely agree. That was what I was told when I was diagnosed with thingy and Asperger's. I never know what that emo is. What is it? ADHD. There we go. I wish it would just let people type ADHD. I mean, we only just mapped the clitoris a few years ago, so progress. I mean, it's cool that we're making the progress. That is fantastic. I'm really happy with that. Didn't Trump make it so that the World Health Organization can't invest in any money towards any studies that involve the words like women or refers to black people directly or promotes diversity in any way? So like a bunch of medical practices and medical research centers and stuff were writing in like, how can we do a study on, say, endometriosis or breast cancer or something if we can't mention women at all? What about studies on women's healthcare? What about studies on things that primarily affect women? What are we going to do here? And there was just no answer. And so they're like, I'm really sorry, but our research has to shut down. And I saw a massive montage on my feed of people, like researchers and scientists, crying and saying, we're leaving the country so we can do our work somewhere else because all our funding just got shut down. Yeah. Pretty sure I saw a hearing as well of a woman saying, how can we research how so they found that black women were at higher risk of death during childbirth than other demographics. And they're like, we want to research why so we can fix that. And we're not allowed because of this bill that blocks research on anything with the word women in it or with any reference to black people. And the response she got was, we don't do DEI anymore. DEI is terrible. And she was like, this isn't DEI. This is about making sure that everyone can give birth safely. Do you want people to give birth safely in this country? And he was like, well, we just can't have DEI, sorry. That was the response. So, like, yeah, in some ways we're making a hell of a lot of progress, and in some places we've taken like 120 years step back. Unfortunately. What a complete clown. Well, the thing is, it's going to work out terribly for them because a huge industry for the States. They are a pioneering leader in medical research and they have an incredible monopoly on new medications and on like just medicine as a whole in the States because it's a big business. They make a lot of money out of it. And so if they reduce the amount of conditions they can treat and lead the way on by half, they remove their disadvantage, which I don't think that America deserves right now, given its bias. So it gives room for other countries to start dominating those markets. I love you. Monetizing healthcare is insane. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree, but I completely see the other side too. I just don't agree with the other side, but I see it. I see why people come to that conclusion. Hello, Alex. Wait, are you from Stafford in England, or is that just your surname? Honestly, it might be better if it's outside the US. That way they don't get patented for massive amounts of money. Do patents actually have any value outside of a country? I could have sworn they didn't. I thought that was why, like, you could have, like, a restaurant with a certain name and you own the name in America, but you can't own it in every country around the world. And I thought that applied to patents too. That's a trademark. Oh yeah, I know. I know that they're two different things, but I thought that the same rule applies to trademarks as it does to patents, right? That they can't be globally enforced. I love you. You can register patents in multiple countries. There you go. So it doesn't apply just because it applies in one country. You literally have to apply to every country because they don't cross borders. I was right. Things generally die when they become industry, like music or art. Now it's a product. Yeah, just like women. Women usually die when they become a product too. Does your makeup usually get messed up due to your Tourette's? Due to your tics? No, not anymore. When I first started experimenting with lipstick, I kept smudging it when I was trying to apply it. And the same went for eyeliner. My eyeliner was pretty scandalously smudged all the time when I initially tried to put it on. But I get pretty focused when I sit and do makeup now, as long as I can do it without distractions. So I tick less when I do it, and I've managed to be good at it now. I think that applies to a lot of new things. Like, I might struggle the first few times because the tics kick in, but like once I learn how to focus during that, I tick less. What's your favorite anime? Probably Attack on Titan and Princess Mononoke. And I like Akira, but there are some things I think could be better about it. I love you. Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, Full Metal Alchemist was amazing. It is very, very good. It's like in my shortlist, but I don't think it's like one of my 100% favorite. Hello, the JRM. How you doing? Stop telling people I love Evangelion. I'm not like that, okay? I'm not. Scavenger's Reign. Scavenger's Reign is amazing, and if you haven't seen it, you should, because it's going to come off Netflix very soon. So your window of opportunity is very, very small. And I'm just going to lay it out there. It is a very, very impressive animation. I don't know if it counts as anime, but it is animated, and it's very, very, very fucking good. We gotta hop on Dead by Daylight soon. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we can arrange a day. Like, DM me. Women are so important because, opposite to male opinion, you have more common sense than us, and we cannot create life without you. I kind of feel like there are just fewer differences between men and women than we like to admit. That the human condition is so similar, even if you have slightly different reproductive approaches, like that is not the be all and end all of how a human behaves, and that most of the things that we do to exaggerate the differences are exaggerated to comfort men and to reinforce stereotypes, but aren't biological. We weren't biologically ordained to wear fucking high heels, for example. Like, a lot of stuff that people do to exaggerate their sex differences is to try and exaggerate this sense of identity that comes with your gender when it's not really integral at all. So, like, people put on false eyelashes and wear makeup and do all these things to exaggerate traits that aren't that different from each other in the beginning. That's why you have to exaggerate them, to make them noticeably different. Because, to be honest with you, day to day, they're usually not that different. So, like, my opinion is, I don't think that my pussy decides whether or not I'm going to be more rational or less rational than a guy. It just doesn't. It really fucking doesn't. People like to claim it does because they don't know anything about science. Like, people like to think that women are more irrational during their periods or whatever, but men have their hormonal cycle every few hours. So everything a woman goes through over the course of a month, men go through over and over again at a much rapid pace. So if there's a stage of hormones that's meant to drive you crazy, weirdly, the PMS, when you go through PMS, when you're going through the period just before your period, that is supposed to make you doolally and strange and silly and cry at nothing. That stage is when you are like, what's the word? Hormonally the most akin to a man. That is the closest to a male state a woman can become, apparently. Hormonally. So if you're gonna say that that naturally makes you just more emotional, then men are more emotional than women by that standard. That's actually really funny. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say, maybe the differences aren't as wide as you fucking think. Maybe we exaggerate the differences. Maybe we don't need each other because we're men and because we're women. Maybe we just need each other because we're a pathetic, squishy little species that can't survive on its own and needs to collaborate with other humans to survive, and that you can collaborate with any other humans and you don't collaborate with them dick first, if you're sane. So maybe the gender doesn't really matter too much. So as much as I love the gender glazing that you busted in here to do, like, it's cool that you appreciate women, but like, maybe just appreciate everyone because they're humans and not because of their dangly doodads down there. How was your time during the 100 questions with Tommy in it? I enjoyed the video. I mean, I get asked that a lot, and it's really cool that you saw it. Thanks for watching that. I never know what to say to answer that question because it's just like, I do a lot of recordings and interviews with the media and with news people and with YouTubers and stuff. I've done a lot of these now, and it just feels very normal. I don't get nervous. I quite enjoy doing it. I make conversation with the crew whenever I can. I like talking to photographers and set designers and, the people behind the scenes because they tend to be really interesting and talented, and I actually studied what they do. So I thought I would be there behind the camera filming people. That's what I thought my future would be. They're kind of living my teenage dream. Um, you know, the film crew. So I try to make a little bit of conversation where I can. Didn't manage to talk to Tommy's film crew quite as much as I do with other film crews though. Like, I know people in like KSI's film crew, for example, who are really lovely. So yeah, I guess that's nice. I get to see the career I might have had if I had a more normal brain. Did you see the UFO files? No, I haven't seen them yet. Are you talking about the ones that the US supposedly released? I did see here in the UK that a bunch of the Reform, they've rebanded. I forgot about that. The Reform Party had a candidate who was incredibly young, who the first motion they tried to do was to try and make a UFO committee over their like area. And everyone kind of just like laughed him out of the room. And we're like, what the fuck are you on about? So that happened. Yeah, you have a good night, Rottweil. Being normal is overrated. I would rather be me than anyone else. I see your argument, kind of agree, but I want to raise you this. Have you ever thought deeper about it and thought that maybe we stigmatize normal, even though normal is usually the description we give for healthy and functional, not for boring or typical? That everyone is so hyper individualistic that they brandish their uniqueness as if it's a badge of honor and makes them special, when actually the only thing you will have in common directly with every other human on the planet is that you're all individual, that you're all unique. That is the most ordinary thing about you, is that it's hard to replicate you, right? And that it's actually really, really hard to have a normal sleep pattern where you get enough sleep for the night, to have a normally functioning body that doesn't have any health problems. That having a normal amount of friends is actually really hard these days. That, a lot of normal things about people are actually incredibly impressive and take a lot of work, discipline, and are like actually pretty aspirational, and that normal isn't a slur. It's not an insult that people heard at you. Like, some of the most normal people I know and have encountered are really impressive for it. I'm like, wow, that's actually incredible. You get a normal amount of exercise. Where the fuck do you find the time? You know? And that normal isn't bad. And I think like people have a knee-jerk reaction where they're like, you're calling me ordinary, you're calling me plain, you're calling me somehow less than interesting. And that's just not what normal means. The reason why so many people try so hard to be normal is because normal is like a medical term for the spectrum that is most ideal for our species. So like if your lungs are normal, that's the base case scenario. And so, like, if your life is normal, that's usually the best case scenario because it means that you're earning enough money to survive and you're not in debt. It means that you got an education, that you can hold a long-term relationship, or at least the kind of relationship structure that makes you happy. You know? And that I'm not worried about being normal. I'm not worried about being normal at all because I don't conflate it with boring or with somehow having given up. I just don't. I think that adults should be more proud of the normal things about them because it's inevitable that you'll have quirks. It's inevitable that there'll be something unique about you. That's something you don't even have to try at. That's a passive. It is absolutely a passive to be unique. You will do that without trying every single day for the rest of your life. Normal is a social construct. Yes and no. I don't think it's entirely social. Some things are considered normal socially. Like, it's considered normal to make small talk with someone to get a feeler for how interested in a conversation you are, like with you, rather than walk up to someone and go, "Hi, friend. I would like to engage in a deep conversation about self-help and suicidal thoughts. I know we haven't met each other. Please discuss." Whips out pen and paper. And it's like, that would be weird. And a lot of people would not find that enticing and are not sure what to do in that situation. Whereas you go, "Nice weather," and they go, "Yeah, it is nice weather. Have you seen a rainbow like that before?" "I never have." That they're like showing you that they want to engage with you. So you can edge towards the dark topics, you know? And so, like, not everything unique and weird is good. But we create social constructs of like what to expect to enable people, to empower people. Like, if you know what is and isn't generally normally acceptable at a bar, you're less likely to get kicked out of it. And everyone's likely to feel safe and have fun because those social norms are unspoken rules to make this environment awesome. Not to control you or make you boring, but literally so that people don't get molested and so that people feel safe and have fun and that it's not invasive. Like, it would be weird to come to a dance party and bring a loudspeaker and play your own music over their music. That would be weird. It was not expected, and it's not welcome, and it's not liked. Understanding what normally happens in this place is really good at like ensuring that you have fun there. Like, everyone might bring sex toys to the orgy. Nobody should be bringing a chainsaw. Thank you so much, Jin-kun. I appreciate it. So yeah, with that said, I do think that as someone who, definitely appreciates uniqueness and interestingness, I think that normal doesn't mean boring or plain. It's not an insult. It's actually pretty cool. And usually it's a scientific or medical term for the expected range. And knowing what to expect is really, really important. Okay? Like, your doctor should know where to expect your heart if they're going to perform heart surgery. It should be in the normal place, right? Not an insult. It's knowledge. It's aptitude. Yeah. And I think people people rebel against it because maybe some social norms just don't fit them. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm not speaking against that whatsoever. I think the people who deviate create awesome new things. Like disco was created by gay people in the gay community, and it really, really took off. And their niche way of engaging with people and having fun spread like wildfire until everyone enjoyed it. I think if they were trying really hard to be typical and normal and emulate what everybody else was doing, we'd have missed out on a massive cultural phenomenon. That's fine. But I think normal gets a bad rap. And I guess maybe it's just because of my condition and how I really spent a lot of time wishing I could be normal. I'm wishing that I could do what was expected and so that I could relate to people. You know, I wish that when people were expecting me to lean into a hug, I could actually just hug them instead of slapping their cock, you know? That would be really helpful to me. And so maybe I get to see the virtue in normal behavior because specifically I was excluded from it and unable to perform it like everybody else. And so maybe because it's missing in me, I have a unique view on what's desirable about it, what's awesome. And I think you take the normal things about you for fucking granted, even though they are achievements. It's like, don't miss out on being normal and indulging in the normal parts of you and loving those normal parts of you. Because they're fucking amazing. In the UK, it's really, really normal to have tea in your food cupboard. Like to have various types of tea, right? That's a really normal thing in most people's houses. Do you know how amazing that is that that became normal? Because kings and queens were the only people who could afford to import tea in the UK. It was not a common drink, and very few people had access to it, and all the people who did were rich. That used to be weird, and now it's normal. And I think, like, when you see it that way, you're like, fuck, it's so cool that it's normal now. You know, kings and queens would envy my spice and tea cupboard. A few hundred years ago, this would be worth billions. And now every average person gets to enjoy it. I think when you see it that way, you can fall in love with normal a little bit, almost as much as I can. A lot of the time, normal things are good to have. Absolutely. Do you know where Iraq is? If you'd asked me like 4 years ago, I probably couldn't tell you, but I am now aware where it is. Like I did some map and like world map studying recently. I upgraded. I gained some EXP. Came a little late. And LMAO, please make a map again, but then that would be more boring because things were more likely to be where you expect them to be. Blah. Were you looking for an island to purchase? No, I was thinking about entering a tournament. Like, what's it called? GeoGuessr tournament that I ended up not being able to make. And I studied really hard for weeks to compensate for my lack of knowledge because I was like, I'm gonna flunk this so bad. I wish I loved you, but you're a bitch. Oh, you're an earthling? Name all the earths. I saw a Twitter post recently. I don't know if any of you else of you saw it. There's a show called fuck, what's it called? Invincible. It's a really good show. I can really recommend it. Love Invincible. Someone was like, did anyone else really notice that Viltrumite had, like, the Viltrumites had billions upon billions of people on their planet, but they didn't manage to have any countries or cultures or separate languages? Isn't that stupid? Shouldn't they have written that better? And I wanted to scream through my screen. I wanted to grab him by the shoulders and go, they were an advanced species. They are biologically more intelligent than us. Why the fuck would they have countries? Like, when we advance as a species, we won't have countries either. Like, countries are a symptom of our own stupidity to a degree. Like, it's one of the more basic things we haven't shed yet. You would still divide things into smaller parts so it's easier to control. I think you can do that without defining them as separate cultures, like countries, though. You could absolutely do that without countries. The Viltrumites were crazy authoritarian. I don't think you need to be authoritarian necessarily. I don't think that's the only way you could eradicate countries, like, as a concept. Like, they all identify as Viltrumites. They all identify as, like, this species as a whole that is superior to everyone else. And it's like, so they don't really see each other as from other parts. They haven't broken it up into, oh, you're a different kind of Viltrumite. No, you're just a Viltrumite. And to be honest with you, that's how we imagine every other alien species anyway. Like, when we used to write sci-fi about Martians, we called them Martians. We didn't imagine that they have separate cultures and separate countries and separate anything. We just defined them as a whole species. But what about languages? If we have no countries, what language would all of us use? How do we manage people that refuse to learn common languages? Well, the thing is, you could have a common language that everybody knows and a local language, and you can keep both. Like, I learned German and English at school. You could just do that and then globally agree on ones that we can all talk to each other and facilitate that. And also, you can have your local shit if you want. You don't have to eradicate any culture or uniqueness to blur the boundaries and remove the imaginary lines in the sand. I think that's where people fall short. They can't imagine relating to people from other countries and retaining their own cultural identity. If me and you are essentially Earthlings, how can I be British? And it's like, you wouldn't technically be British because of the location. You would be British in a colloquial sense. Right? You could refer to that culture and still not have like boundaries on your land. Does aliens have altruism? Well, I kind of feel like you need altruism and you need other socially motivated instincts and emotions. You need those to be advanced enough to build ships, essentially. You can't collaborate with another human without recognizing you are another human. That is not me. You have separate perspectives and are a different person, but are still worthy of my attention and interaction, and I should treat you with respect. And we should mutually benefit each other. Altruism's perfect. Like, altruism is an instinct that establishes social bonds. It's pretty essential. Most species that don't have it never group up and work on anything together. It makes them less advanced and stunts their development, their mental development. The most intelligent species on the planet are usually social. So I doubt this. I maybe that this is just a very anthropomorphizing perspective, but I do think that it's very unlikely that a species will even become intelligent and sentient in space. Like, that's statistically low. And yet, so the few that do, and it's like, it's going to be even harder to get like a lot of variance in how species get advanced, because there are a million ways to be wrong, but very few ways to be right. So, like, the right recipe for an intelligent species that can survive for millions of years and start space traveling, there's very, very few recipes that will create that. It's a rarity. So I think empathy and altruism will be probably a cornerstone of a lot of those species. I think it would be very, very rare to be unempathetic and non-altruistic and still make it in space. Very, very fucking rare. It's so hard to manufacture the revolution of the lower class because everyone is so divided and easily polarized. What's a guy to do? Well, the upper class intentionally keeps the lower class stupid. The first thing they'll do when they enslave you or try to extract value from you so that you have a terrible life and they can use all the value in your life is they will restrict your education so you're more vulnerable to those sorts of things. So, for example, when the Americans took African slaves, they denied them an education and they didn't even let them have a Bible. The Bible that they were allowed to have was rewritten so that it didn't promote freedom and so that it promoted a natural order where white people were allowed freedom and were allowed to be loved by God and had a place in heaven, but black people weren't. And so they rewrote the Bible and then they made it so that black people were not allowed to read and write. Like, you would get punished for reading and writing. And this meant that they were incredibly vulnerable to manipulation. And they would not understand, like, the upper class's maneuvers to keep them subordinate and keep them enslaved. So whenever you are seeing a lower class be created, manufactured, the first thing they'll do is they'll remove your education. They will try to withdraw what information you're allowed access to. They did this to women too. There was many a time where women were banned from having an education and were specifically banned from being allowed to read or write. So that's the first thing they'll do to you so that you're more easy to polarize. Sowing hatred among people who can't study history is so much easier than people who go, wait a minute, I've seen this recipe before. And so what makes them vulnerable and easily harvested is the manipulation of their access to healthcare, access to education, access to autonomy, housing, basic things. Right? That's how you create an underclass. You create barriers for them that don't exist for the people you want to get rich. You create laws for them that don't apply to the rich people, right? And so in that environment, it's really, really easy to pit these people against each other because they are desperate. We don't have a word that encapsulates this behavior. If we made it into a meme and made a slur for when rich people pit you against each other, keep you stupid, and try to pit you against each other, they would not be able to do it anymore. Because if poor people could see what it was, what the behavior meant, they wouldn't fall for it over and over again. So, like, I think the solution is memes. I don't know about you, but if there was one simple word that classified an entire concept of what they were doing, people wouldn't get away with it anymore. If there was a stigma against burning certain books in schools because it promotes an agenda and it's just information, we could call it that and it would fall apart. When people start rambling on about boats of migrants coming over and there's barely any of them, right? And they're going, they're the reason you're poor. We could call it that. We could whip out the meme. We could call it Elon mandering or something, you know? Or, you're not being a chode, are you? Let's imagine chode was the word. And be like, you're not being a chode, are you? You're not trying to turn me against the brown people so I don't notice you thieving from me, are you? Or like, when they say like, oh, women, you know, you've been fooled into going to the workforce. You've been duped. Now we can tax you as well. It was all a scam from the female autonomy was just a scam from the tax man. You should go back in the kitchen. I could go, you're not choding us, are you? You're not trying to remove my education and shit so that I'm easy to keep subjugated. so you can steal all the value in my life and use it for yourself. Would you? You're not choding me, are you? I think this guy's choding us. So you need a simple word to cover the detail of the topic. The minute you stigmatize it in one word, it dies. Because nobody wants to be a chode anymore. Like, a lot of rich people pretend that they are standing up for the poor by being racist. That's the shield they quite often hide behind. I'm just trying to protect poor women from being raped, by these terrible barbarians. These sorts of things, straw man arguments. So if we had a stigmatizing word for it, it would die. It would absolutely die, but we don't. We don't create ubiquitously a word for the concept. Because if we could make it a very short, simple, easy concept that is digestible and utilizable everywhere, then, people would be educated enough to see it when it's coming and know exactly how it works. Because it's a tale as old as time and it works over and over again, but only if you keep the lower class stupid. That's a really powerful point to make. I mean, it really clicked for me when I watched how, I think it was Spanish people were promised that they would be counted as white if they turned on black people. So when they were campaigning to make sure that only white people could vote and black people couldn't, white people joined in that, Spanish people joined in that fight because they assumed that they would be allowed to be considered white in this division. When really they were being mistreated as much as black people in some circumstances, and they were still looked down upon by, the white class. They weren't really being considered the white class. So you draw these lines in the sand and these degrees of separation and pit people against each other, and it completely breaks apart a movement. Absolutely. Really fast. Wow, I'm Spanish and I didn't know that. You can look into the history of it. It's fascinating. But it really clocks something for me in human behavior, which is over and over and over again, we create an underclass by making them stupid and then using very basic manipulations tactics on them so that we can extract lots of value from them, and they waste their lives on labor that we're unwilling to do. And the UK and America and a lot of European countries are doing it to China by outsourcing all of the most pollutive, most horrible, back-breaking work to sweatshops in China. We're still doing it to a degree. We're still creating an underclass somewhere else. They live horrible lives so we can live awesome ones. It's still going on. But the most common thing is Reform UK are a political party in my country, in the UK. And so basically, there was this really racist party that everyone laughed at and didn't gain much traction years and years ago called UKIP. And I can't remember whether they became the BNP next or if the BNP was first. But anyway, there's always been a racist party and they rebrand every single year because every single year a bunch of their people in the party get revealed for scandals. Pedophiles, embezzlers, thieves, wife beaters. Lo and behold, the racist party is full of awful people, right? So they always have to rebrand and step away from, the people that were in before. And this year, they got a lot of votes. And those lots and lots and lots of votes were primarily from underprivileged men. That was a huge vote base for them. Men in, jobs that don't require a higher education, men who, feel disenfranchised by a certain government and all this sort of stuff, right? And what they did, I've been looking at this psyop for years and I have the most intense and crazy fucking conspiracy about how we made a huge amount of men associate being racist with their masculine identity and reclaiming male dominance. And I genuinely think that part of it was porn. I don't think all porn is bad, but I think they slipped a bunch of propaganda in porn and in red pill content. Because red pill content fucking surged when men got lonely and women, didn't have to rely on them for money. So they got with men for their personality instead of their money. And a bunch of men just couldn't measure up and get a girlfriend based on their personality. So they got single, they got lonely, and they're like, I need dating tips, which is fine. Go research it. Learn how to be a better date. That makes sense. And then they were falling into these pit traps, these algorithmic pit traps of going to red pill content where they were being told, in order to be a man, you have to be dominant, alpha man. You have to have no empathy. empathy. You have to hate everyone and only serve yourself and be ridiculously selfish, and then you'll have everything. Like me, I'm a rich man with 7 Bugattis because I hate everyone and I whip kids who are stupid enough to trust me when they're children, like ridiculing them, hating them. And he's like, look at me, I'm super rich, and you could be rich too if you're an asshole, right? And they lure people in because they're like, look at my wonderful life. And you're like, I want a wonderful life. I want loads of women. And they're like, yeah, if you make them submissive, you'll have them. And if you hate everyone from everywhere else, you'll have them. And they promoted a bunch of really aggressive political values that were homophobic and xenophobic and sexist and nasty. And they presented it all as dating tips. They preyed on people's desperation to break out of loneliness and their desperation for self-improvement, and said, if you want to be muscular and have high status and be admired and be all the things you've ever wanted, all you have to be is an asshole. And like, I'm not even lying. I swear that's the recipe they're promoting. Because, and you can watch Louis Theroux, his documentary on them if you don't believe me. But I saw this brewing years ago and I was like, holy fuck. Because before there was the red pill, there were pickup artists. Pickup artists were a phase that everyone's forgotten about. And those people would go out and film themselves ramming women's heads down in pubs and clubs. Suddenly, just grabbing the back of their head and going, whoop, really hard, and then pretending nothing happened. And they'll stand up like, what the fuck just happened? And they're like, and they're like, if you do that to her, it will activate her submissive instincts and she'll go home with you because she'll see you as an alpha. And they would give tips like this. Lie to her, tell her stupid things, deceive her, date rape her, whatever. And they were the men who would film themselves being awful to women to try and sleep with them. And their whole formula was, if you want to be awesome like me, all you have to be is an asshole, right? And they make this asshole persona. They make this fake persona that is like, they just take the most asshole aspect of them and dial it up by 1,000. And they go around being cruel to people and they film it. The most recent ones, the red pill ones, they go out and they beat people up. They accuse them of being a pedo with no evidence and they beat them up on the street and they go, see, I'm a big hero. And like, one of them's being taken to court because there was no evidence that he was a pedo. He just made it up to beat someone up in the street and look like an alpha male, right? And so, like, I think that the whole beginning of this cycle was, it started off with pickup artists and it escalated to this whole internet culture called red pill, called 4chan and places like this where it was born. And it's a culture of disguising all of your aspirations, saying you will become everything you've wanted to be if you just become a more divided class. You can be an upper class man. You can be a rich white man. All you have to do is shit on everyone around you. Separate yourself from everyone around you, feel superior to them, and harm them at every opportunity you can. And they separated a bunch of men off, just like they did with the Spanish people when they were organizing how people got voters' rights in America. This is the same formula. It made them unable to be educated. This is how they made them stupid. I brought that up in the beginning. Let's go back. I said that the first thing they'll do to you is they'll take you away from your education. And what happened with all these red pill boys is that they stopped being able to be taught in schools. They fell off educationally. Kids aged 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, suddenly teachers are writing in all across the world, by the way, and you can look into this, you can go fact check this. There is an epidemic of teachers saying, I can't teach my students because they won't listen to a woman. And most teachers tend to be women. There's a lot of women, put in roles caring for children. And so these boys become too misogynistic to get an education. They're like, I don't have to listen to you. And they become subordinate and they get thrown out of school a lot. And they don't behave and they don't learn. And then we had this wave where boys were falling behind. You can look this up too. Massive statistics of boys who were unexpectedly dumb, low reading ages, not doing as well as their female counterparts. And when that happened, people were like, what can we do? How do we fix this, right? And nobody really came up with a good answer. And during this time, it completely aligned with when these boys were being fed algorithmically down the incel pipeline, down the red pill pipeline. So they focused on this group and dangled the promise that they'll be considered the upper class if they betray everyone else. And this is a really regular recipe. Take away their education, dangle a reward at the end and say, don't worry, you can be in the big boys club if you, and then have them be basically ops. Have them completely kick the underclass around them, thinking one day it will buy them a ticket out of it. And it doesn't. These men still end up really lonely and poor, no girlfriend, no mansion, no Bugattis, nothing. They're still really disenfranchised. And it's awesome for racist parties. It's why it causes a surge in support for racist parties, because they can take these uneducated people who don't know history and don't know about this tactic. All the rest of us who've had a proper education see it. This uneducated group of people completely vulnerable to the blame the darkies like formula. Whereas like, oh, are you poor? Is the overclass stealing from you? No, no, don't blame us. No, 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 we didn't do anything. It was, Mohammed down the road. He stole your job. Yeah, yeah. You should do something about him. Don't worry, I'll help you do something about him. And I've seen it before. Like in India, there was an example that I saw, and it really taught me about this formula. And it makes it really, really obvious to me now, where all of the northern Indians in the rural areas were moving to the south of India, where the big cities were, to get jobs. And all the southern Indian people, there was a massive crisis, a financial crisis, caused by the rich, by the way, and corruption. And they blamed foreigners. They blamed, rural people in North India coming in and stealing your job. And so they created these massive hate mobs. And what they did was they were like, if North Indian people come here and, work in the taxis, it's a really common job. If they work there, they have to only drive taxis that are a certain color to differentiate them from our local workers. So like local taximen, you can have this color taxi. And northern taximen, you have to have this color taxi. And once they started like trying to deflect from all of the horrible bullshit, the rampaging theft they did, where they caused all of this debt and shit, right? They pointed to the North Indian taxis and went, there they are. They did this to you, get them. And like the South Indian people completely fell for it. And they pulled people out of their cars, mobbed them, broke the windows, beat them to death, all this stuff. I saw these riots and this stuff. And I was like, you don't even have to say it's people from another country. You can just literally point to any group of people who are othered in any way. And it's the same old fucking formula. So for me, I kind of feel like the latest way they've been doing it is by denying men an education, preying on their insecurities and vulnerabilities to make them uneducated, and then apply the same fucking formula. Steal from everyone, blame it on a demographic. And yeah, the reform voters are falling for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Immediately falling for it. This is making me sad. But the thing is, I really enjoy learning about this stuff. Not because I'm like, yay, racism, bitch, but because I have a dick. I have a dick. The reason why I love learning about this stuff is because the minute you understand it, you can solve it. If you had no idea this existed, you were its bitch until now. The minute you know the formula, you step out. Because the reason why this worked is because nobody could see what was going on. And we're in the most educated system. We're in the most educated stage of humanity. Most people know how to read now. That's never happened in all of history. Very few people could even fucking read. And now we have access to all the world's information in our phones at all times. So now we're more empowered to figure this out than ever before, and it's harder and harder to control. That's why a lot of governments are trying to control what media we get fed. Because when it's let loose and anyone can submit, it's much, much more difficult to direct people and kind of create mass compliance than ever before. So you are more powerful than you've ever been. If you are sad because you know better, I'm so sorry the world did this to you. But that's what knowledge is to me. I'm never sad that I know something's terrible is going on. I feel stronger because of it. I feel incensed and ready to make a difference. And I felt that way ever since I was a child. Like I learned about all sorts of horrible things going on in the world, and I wrote to the House of Parliament. I wrote into them and I submitted my little letter saying I didn't want to grow up in a world where these things happen about a specific political issue. They read it out. They read it out. I used to get writings back. I used to talk to my local MP. I used to write to them about issues that I cared about. 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. I used to get really excited when they wrote back. I've still kept some of the letters. Because the minute I understood what was going on, I wanted to be a part of the reason it changed. Immediately. I was like, oh boy. Because when you see a problem with the world, you're seeing its potential. When you see a problem with you or the world, you're seeing its potential because you're going, that could be better. That's what you're seeing. When something could be better, it's bringing out your potential, it's bringing out your capability, it's bringing out the best in you. So I don't know. I don't get depressed when I learned about these things. I get kind of excited and energized and ready. I'm like, what can I do? I want to do something about that. How can I contribute immediately? Because I'm powerful. I'm like one of the most influential creatures on this planet. Entire lives hinge on how I behave and what I do and like how I eat and when I sleep and what I wear and like what I talk about. That's what humans are. We're immensely influential and we forget it all the time. So yeah, I think like what broke that down for me and makes me like feel very, it's weird that I came to this conclusion. Heroes Geek, thank you so much. I appreciate the prime. It's weird that I came up to this conclusion because I'm so different from everyone else. I don't mean to brag, but like I have the Tourette syndrome. My brain doesn't work the same way as everybody else's, and I have a lot of disadvantages in life. My body doesn't work properly. I don't have a typical lived experience for anyone. I don't know very many people who've lived like me, right? And so you'd think I'd feel very separated and very lonely and isolated from the world. And to be honest with you, I did. I felt that way for so fucking long. And when I believed that I was so unique and special and no one understood me, I had no friends, I had no family, I had no life, I had nothing. But when I started seeing the connection, when I started seeing very little difference between me and other people, even people I disagree with, there's a very fine line between me and them. And most of it's life experience, to be honest with you. When I started relating to literally everyone, when that line began to blur, I changed everything. Like, I had friends, I had family, I had a life, I had a job. I didn't have to fix my Tourette's to get out into the world. I just had to fix my boundaries. I stopped believing that there was this massive difference between me and you, right? You're just me in another life. All of you. And with that belief system, I think it just became much, much easier to make a difference and much, much easier to face things down and much, much easier to do anything real, to be honest with you. Twinning. I'm hoping more people have a similar epiphany. I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to approach philosophically the world to achieve anything. By all means, find your own unique way there. But I think maturity is just realizing you're more normal than you think. I think, like, normalcy, its place is realizing that the average life experience connects you with literally everyone on this planet. I love breathing and eating, like all of you. Like, I love comfort, safety, security, and a little bit of discomfort, you know, a few horror movies here and there, things like that. I think like we can all relate on a lot of really common experiences. How to approach women. So I'd love to answer that for you, but I'm going to keep it brief because a lot of people ask about this stuff, which is cool. I love helping people connect. However, I think I'm going to bore a lot of people who've been here a long time, so I'll just give you the short list really quickly, okay? And wish you luck. The first thing is, as a woman, I don't like being approached, and I know a lot of women who feel the same way about me. And that doesn't leave a lot of room for you to find someone if you can't just walk up to them in the street and go, I find you attractive, can I take you on a date? I wish it could be that simple. I think we all wish it could be that simple, but it can't. And one of the reasons is safety. A lot of women feel very, very unsafe the minute they know that you are attracted to them and that you've been observing them in the street, because bad people do that too. Bad people can be attracted to you and observe you in the street and follow you home and murder you and worse, right? And so because we are taught to make those precautions all of the time, there's this massive, massive barrier between us and people who are safe to date. And the way we broke down those barriers is we created safe places to date to separate you from weirdos, okay? So that you don't get treated like a weirdo. You don't get treated like some rapist on the street. If you go to the designated spaces where women go to find dates. That's the first thing. So dating apps and pubs, clubs, the local places culturally where people do romance, those are places where you're more likely to get a warm reception for your interest. The other is social skills that you're not going to get by just picking up women. You get the social skills that make you pick up women from friendships. So go and make some friends, make a bunch of friends, and make friends with women that you're not attracted to. Make friends with women that you would never date in a million years who aren't interested in you either. It will give you an immense advantage over all other men when it comes to dating. Because if you can hold a conversation with people and be interested in them, then you are doing 90% of what makes you appealing in a relationship. A lot of women who want monogamous relationships want someone who's going to be fun to be around, who's going to be a friend. And if you don't know how to be a friend before you have a girlfriend, you're going to fail. Also, when you have lots and lots of friends, you will meet more people, you will meet their friends, and it will open up your scope for meeting people in circumstances that aren't creepy. Okay, so if you're going to a house party and there are women there, that might be more acceptable than panhandling for sex on the street and going, give me your details, fine woman on the street that doesn't know me. Just give me all your details. I'm sure it'll be safe. You know, your reward could be dick. Just risk your life for me. That's sane. And it doesn't work. A lot of like people who approach women in the street or approach strangers don't have a high success rate. They have to try thousands of times to get one yes, because statistically, most women aren't into that form of approach. It rarely ever works. And so that's my top 3 pieces of advice. Learn some social skills. I think the main reason I've turned down most men who've ever asked me out specifically is because they are ludicrously stupid when it comes to knowing when they should and shouldn't. It's such a vibe killer. The biggest skill you'll have is knowing that maybe hitting on a woman at a funeral while they're crying over their parents' death is the worst possible time to offer your dick. And it will be perceived as, but would you like some dick? If you hit on me, I'm not going to assume that you genuinely have a deep connection with me, random stranger. I will know that you just looked at me and liked my body and wanted to get to know me better to see if you could smash. It is basically dick salesmanship. And so, if you understand when it is appropriate and when it isn't, and also understand when someone is interested and when they aren't. Biggest skill men could benefit from, which will increase their success rate to 100%, is learn to recognize when someone's interested in you, because a lot of men don't, and it works both ways. Sometimes they'll lay awake at night and be like, holy fuck, I think that girl from high school 20 years ago was hitting on me. Fuck. And they'll not realize in the moment, but also they will hit on people when they don't know when someone's interested in them, and that's why they get turned down the most. Because women, when they're interested in you, they will show signs that are blaringly loud. And so, if you can pick up on those signs, you will never get turned down again. Not because everyone will say yes to you, but because you will only hit on the people who will say yes to you. You won't be wasting your time on anyone who would say no. So if you don't have social skills, you won't have bitches. Not because you can rizz the bitches up. It's literally because learning how to make conversation with people and knowing the difference between a hey and a hey is everything. Do you like masculinity? I'll be honest with you, I don't think masculinity is real. I'm the wrong person to ask. I think it's a made up bunch of characteristics that anyone can have. I don't know of a single masculine thing that a man can have that a woman can't. So it's just not real to me. Women can even grow beards. So I'm just like I like mature, awesome people. I'm not gonna call that masculinity. Because, like, I could say, oh yeah, it's so attractive when someone is physically capable and intelligent and like, that they are good at providing and, good at nurturing and are a good parent and all these sorts of things. Those are really nice qualities. And it's like, I'd be attracted to them in a man or a woman. I don't think any of those count as masculinity. So I don't like really have a concept of masculinity that is localized to men. So none of the positive traits I can think of, like, yeah, masculinity doesn't make sense to me. Would you prefer a brute or someone mellow? Fuck brutes. Like, if someone is aggressive, simple, and prioritizing force, I won't like them no matter who they are. I think both men and women can do that, and both suck. No one likes a brute. I disagree with that aspect. A masculine man will do what needs to be done to protect those he loves, while a feminine man will probably call for help in that situation. I think that one of the things I enjoy in a friend and a partner is having each other's back. I don't think that's a man thing. I genuinely don't. And I think it stopped being a man thing when I noticed that when men were troubling me on the train or the bus when I was a kid, no man would ever stand up for me, only women. And whenever I stood up for other women on trains, specifically for being harassed, no men ever stood up. They quietly listened and watched the situation, but never stepped in or did a thing. I stood up for my mom against a weird pervy man as well. I don't consider standing up for people a masculine trait. I think it's a human obligation. I learned from a young age you cannot guarantee that you'll be protected based on anyone's genitalia. It is a human obligation. You don't get a safe world unless we make it safe. And that is just down to how brave you are, not your gender. Because we're all scared. We're all scared that an interaction like that might go wrong, but if we don't intervene, then the world gets scarier. So no, I don't think that being a protector is a masculine trait. I think it's a human trait. And as someone who's had to be the protector in many, many situations, I just don't think that it counts as a male responsibility. I refute that it was ever masculine. I'm not saying it's feminine either. I'm just saying it's not a gendered trait. Yeah. And also making it a gendered trait means that men get celebrated for it and women don't get any credit, and no one even expects women to do it, even when they do it so often. It's like fucking chivalry, where if I hold the door open, I don't get a title. But if a man does it, he's suddenly a gentleman. Like, I don't believe in giving credit for something that both genders do. So, fuck that. So, would I be attracted to someone who would protect me in a situation? No, because I don't reward basic human decency with pussy. Like, I could be friends with, I will be friends with people who do that and not be attracted to them and go, yeah, as you should. I would do the same for you. I would run into battle to protect you too, bitch. That's what we do. That's considered like a platonic base level expectation. And I don't know. I think that like a lot of narratives on TV shows and movies are that like women will reward you if you're brave enough, and if you beat up the right person, that they'll just go, here are some titties. You've been such a good boy. Like at the end. They'll just fall into his arms and go, yes, protector. That's who I'll date. It's like, no, we're all obligated to be protectors. That's our job. We're adult humans. We maintain a safe atmosphere for everyone. If you're not a protector, you're kind of worthless. Like, you should be protecting to some degree. You should, if you see someone in trouble, you should fucking help them. If you're not physically strong enough to intervene with physical interaction, you should still be interacting to make it safer. In whatever way you are able. We should all be protecting each other. Even reporting shit to the police is a form of protector. You know, designing a good security system and like actually putting it in your grand's house so they're safe. You're protecting them. Protection isn't just male physical violence. It's a form of human decency. It shouldn't be rewarded with girlfriends and pussy, and it shouldn't only be recognized when men do it. It's not a masculine trait. I will die on that fucking hill. And, like, I used to live in a car park, so I had a really rough car park, like a nightclub car park behind my flat when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, a single woman in her 20s, living alone, and I would hear women scream in the pitch black car park behind. It happened like 4 or 5 times. And I would go out there and I would help them. One time I went out and there was a bush at the corner of the car park, and a man was trying to rape a woman there. And I literally, with my flashlight, shone it on him, really bright, so he couldn't tell how many people were looking at him. It was just me. And went, hello, who are you? What are you doing? Do you know him? And she was just silent and in shock, lying there with her clothes ripped. And he was stood over her, not facing me. He just froze with his back to me. And I was like, do you know her? And he ran off. And then I sat with her and waited for the police, and the police kept saying that they'd come and they never came. That happened quite often. Like, there was loads of situations like that. And I think, I don't want any of you to call me masculine, no matter how many desperate maidens I saved. I don't think that was a bro-tastic thing of me to do. Yeah, I'm not gonna be like mugging and doing fucking Giga Chad compilations and going over that. So if I do that without credit, everyone does. Obligations. Yeah, I would do it because if I just sat there and listened to that woman scream and go through the worst night of her life while I just sat comfortably in my flat, I'd hate myself. That's not the adult I ever wanted to be. I wasn't out there like, I sure hope I get rewarded with some dick for being such a hero. Surely people will be so impressed with me. Like, I didn't even talk about it. Who would I even tell? I had no friends. So, like, yeah, no, being a protector isn't masculine. I keep saying it over and over again. At what point did we ever think that protection and protecting others was anything other than just a human quality we have? And also, I don't think of it as like, if you're the kind of person who's non-confrontational and doesn't know how to fight, I don't think of you as masculine or feminine. I think of you as assertive or gentle. Like, if you are assertive, you might handle a bad situation differently to a gentle person. Gentle people, both male and female, are valuable. They're lovely. They're wonderful people. I think that any room is literally enhanced by gentle people. I celebrate gentleness. Abso-fucking-lutely. Am I a gentle person? No. In most situations, no. And I'm okay with that. I don't immediately think that I'm a different class or group than these people I don't think I'm more masculine or feminine than someone who's gentle. Uchu, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I really appreciate that. And thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, hi, Marion. I just saw that super chat. Hello, Marion. Fuck off. You can be gentle and assertive. Yeah, you can absolutely have both qualities. Some people are adaptive and change their approach depending on the situation. Is there anything you attribute to gender? Yeah, crime rates. I think that's pretty factual. I don't think my perception or society is anywhere involved. Crime rates are definitely gendered. Assertiveness is an intellectual form of self-sufficiency. It can be. I think that's one definition. It's a really good one. I think it's broader than that, but that's definitely one way you can be assertive. Well, I'm open to seeing things differently. I will have to think about that more. Yeah, go ahead. I love that. I love if I ever have a conversation with you, tits, and you come away going, I want to think about that more. That is like my highest achievement. I eat that shit up. That's amazing. I love talking to chat because sometimes you make me think and you fact check me and you teach me shit too. Sometimes I read something and I haven't checked the source properly and I'm like, I think I feel this way. And you guys go, no. And I'll admit it, it's a little bit embarrassing to be wrong, but I'm so grateful that I get to learn from you too. Like, we exchange here. That is awesome. I'm so lucky. Because, like, it's growing pains. Embarrassment is just growing pains. Like, if you look back at, like, 14-year-old you and you're like, oh, that's so cringe, I'd never do that now. Good! Means you grew. You could never imagine being that basic. That means you're better now. And so usually cringe, shame, embarrassment comes with learning, sadly. I wish learning could feel good in the same way that I wish that all healthy foods could just taste like cheesecake. Ah! But like when someone goes, actually, that's a misconception, I don't go, yay, knowledge. I'm like, damn it, I was wrong for like 3 seconds. And then I push that feeling aside and go, well, at least I'm more knowledgeable now. And I thank them. It's like receiving a spanking and you're like, thank you, sir, can I have another? I've never said that, but I've seen people do it. And I think I know the feeling even though I can't relate, because when people embarrass me by going, you're wrong, I'm like, thank you, sir, can I have another? It's the only time I can ever relate to like a sub. I would love it if learning involved getting cheesecake. I did wonder where you were going with that sentence, because it could have been spanking, given the context. Oh, that's another like gender take I've got for you. So a lot of people separate things by like masculine or feminine. And I think that you should probably have a degree of both. I think like the most attractive men are kind of feminine and the most attractive women are kind of masculine. The reason why is because neither exists. Masculinity and femininity don't really exist. They're an ever fluctuating group of social rules that change all the time because they're based on nothing, right? And so a complete person has both. A complete person is kind and gentle in the right circumstances and aggressive in the right circumstances. A complete person can put their emotions aside when they're no longer appropriate but also lean into those emotions when they are the most useful thing in your toolkit. I think you should be emotional and also like not like reduce your emotions, set them aside sometimes. Sometimes your emotions get in the way. If you know the difference, you're a complete human. That's maturity. Okay? And so I feel like our idea of like what women do and what men do is actually just two halves of a complete person. I think that you should be both. You say masculinity and femininity aren't anything, but you should have both. Yes, because I think these are attributes that are just an aspect of adulthood and maturity. They are just a skill set. Like, people stereotype femininity as being a good mother. But in that case, why don't we just give all children to the mothers then? Why would men ever get custody? Unless being a good parent is not a gendered fucking thing. And that being able to raise someone, care for someone, protect someone, love someone, teach someone is a skill you just get as an adult. Like, being able to protect yourself and others is a skill that an adult should have. I don't want to be helplessly waiting for a man to arrive if I'm in trouble. I want to be able to get myself out of troublesome situations. I want to be there for people who aren't able to do that for themselves. I think that any human being is capable of that. And then someone will jump in and go, yeah, but you're no match for a bunch of men. And it's like, no man is a match for a bunch of men. Either. If 6 men start on you, you're just as fucked whether you're a man or a woman. Yeah, so like, I don't think that's an incentive not to learn self-defense. And not to learn how to deal with confrontation. And not to learn when some things cannot be talked out of. Sometimes you have to force your way out of the situation or worse things will happen to you. And I think that, like, it makes people helpless. If they're told that they aren't allowed to emote, aren't allowed to cry, aren't allowed to fight, aren't allowed to react. And I'm not the first person to come up with the idea that masculinity and femininity are just halves of an adult human, because there are cultures for thousands of years that believed that people who were intersex or trans were more complete and were spiritually whole compared to everyone else, because they imbued the energy of both halves of the human experience. So they were called the complete ones, or the spiritual ones, or the two-spirited. There was this idea before our most recent culture, in many societies around the world for thousands of years, that to have both attributes was a form of completeness. Kind of like being ambidextrous, but with skill set and talent. And so, like, I feel like that was when I first was like, you know what? And I think, like, men who are kind of feminine, the men with a little bit of nail polish and a little bit of, like, mascara, who are good at holding a conversation and know how to empathize with others, right? Those men get so much more female interest than the masculine ones. I'm not saying there's no positivity in being buff and having muscles or having a square jaw and a beard and, like, quite a strong presence. Love that about people. I'm just saying that the feminine guy gets a lot of sexual attention, and people don't acknowledge that. And I think one of the reasons why is because a lot of women do spot this and feel this way, where a man who has both is the Dayton version of a Swiss Army knife. Honestly, you're attracted to men wearing mascara and nail polish? I mean, it's one way to be hot. It's not the only way, but yeah, it's pretty cute. Can be if it suits you and you know how to put it on right. I mean, some guys' idea of eyeliner and mascara is just do this, and it doesn't look very good. We call it guy liner when a guy's like trying to look like he's into all of these things that we're into, but doesn't really know how, and kind of looks like he's been attacked by a kid with a crayon. We call that guy liner. So yeah, it doesn't look awesome just because you're doing it. Like, you have to do it with skill like the rest of us. But yeah, it can be pretty hot. And I mean, like, I've grown up around men who are effeminate to some degree. if you want to use that word, who just had slews of women who loved them and were attracted to them. I do think masculinity has slightly been stripped away from men, though. I think most dudes are actually poorly socialized nowadays. I think that trying to make a man masculine is a way to poorly socialize them. Like telling a crying kid that they're not allowed to cry and that their issue isn't real and that they just have to be a boy and bottle it up is a way to fuck them over and emotionally stunt them. And it can lead to them being an abuser later in life, or just being terrible at handling a relationship and terrible at raising your kids because you bottled all your emotions away and you get disgusted when other people show them because you were shamed for them as a kid. I think that that's a lot of people think that hitting your child, spanking them and telling them to stop crying is parenting, and it's not. And we direct that level of abuse at boys more than girls. I think that's a way we fuck them over, right? I don't know if you agree. I think that masculinity isn't being stripped away from men. Your masculinity is a truth about you nobody can take away. You are not downgraded to womanhood, because womanhood A isn't a downgrade. And you won't magically be considered a woman in society if you don't behave according to social norms, if you don't act masculine. That's just not how gender or like your identity works. You're still going to be billed from accounting, whether you like football or crochet, right? The idea that masculinity can be taken away from anyone is false inherently. If you're a man, you're a man. The idea that you'll get downgraded for your behavior only applies to men, and it is a complete and utter manipulative lie we use to abuse men, okay? I'm never told I will lose women points if I do shit. I can only gain aspiration the more I step away from femininity. I'm paradoxically in the opposite situation. If I got really good at football, people would respect me more. If a man got really, really good at doing something feminine, like makeup, for example, they will get disrespected more. Okay? So this idea only applies to half of the population. Why? Because it's not real. Also, the only thing that's been taken away from men is a forced advantage in economics. Okay? So men will claim that that their role has been taken away from them, that they've been demoted, that they're not masculine these days because women don't have to rely on them for money. Women can open their own bank accounts and go to work. So now a man isn't the head of the house just because he's a man. He's not awarded that role just because he swings his dick into the house. Like, you could be the head of the house and be the provider no matter who you are. And so the only thing that's been taken away from men is unfair dynamics like that. That shouldn't really exist. That hasn't really taken anything away from men at all. It doesn't demote you. So, like, I feel like this idea that you can demote men depending on how they behave and how you act towards them. I don't think that you can emasculate a man. I don't think that it's emasculating if a woman proposes to a man, for example. Or if he's the housekeeper and she goes to work. I don't think these dynamics take anything away from him. I would still acknowledge him as a man. I just wouldn't acknowledge him as my superior. The only idea, like, it's not manhood that's being taken away, it's the class that's been taken away. Manhood used to be perceived as a class, and it's not a class anymore. It's an identity, and an identity only. And I don't think that gender should be divided by class no matter who benefits. I don't think that women should be considered an upper class either. I don't think we need to swap. I just think we should take class out of gender. I'm late to this, but I'm glad I caught it. About to cook and relax. Just wanting to show my love. Thank you so much, Junebug. You're so sweet. And maybe that's an unconventional way to take gender and stuff, but I think being able to step outside it has made me much more relaxed, happy, accepting, loving. And I think it's really benefited me as a human to just stop seeing gender and stop believing in it. Like, if I meet someone, I'm not going to expect anything from them by perceiving them. Like, I don't need to know their gender to know how to treat them. If I meet someone online, like on Discord, and they're like, because I interact a lot with my Discord viewers, like people who view my stream, if they hop in my Discord, we're probably going to talk sometime. We're probably going to interact somehow, right? And a lot of these people, I never hear their voice. I never see a photo of them. I don't know what sex they are. I don't know what gender they are. All I know is that they are a person talking about their fucking Magic the Gathering card collection. And I engage with that with no expectations except that Magic the Gathering is interesting. And that goes so much better for me than making any additional assumptions based on their gender, or needing to know any further details to know how to handle it. I think it stunts you to categorize people that hard. I wouldn't mind being a house husband. It allows my creative juices to flow different ways to show my love. See, I would happily have a house husband. I think, like, my situation, I would happily have a house partner. Because, like, I don't need the second income. And, like, I would be happy to, like, provide. But the thing that would make me really happy about it is I'm always fucking busy. And I think the only way that anyone's ever going to have a relationship with me and us actually see each other is if they have a lot of free time. Because I can't tell you whether I'm going to be able to hang out at like 2 in the afternoon or 3 in the morning. I don't know when I'm going to be free, and I can't make a schedule and I can't plan. Like, my work dominates my life. And that means I have free time. It's just hard to allocate or plan it. So if you do a 9 to 5, I don't know whether I'll see you every day. You may think differently when it's your own child. What relationship they have? I think it's weirdly incestuous to try and govern your children's relationships. I think it's weirdly incestuous to be jealous or controlling and to decide who your child fucks, who your child loves, who your child marries, your child spends the rest of their life with. Your child is not someone you shape, they are someone you meet. They decide who they are, you just protect them and keep them educated and keep them alive until you find out who they are with them, as they find out. And if you don't fucking believe me, press 1 if you're a disappointment. Press 1 if you did not turn out the way that your parents expected you to. There we go. So far, everyone I've ever asked that question has went, yeah, I didn't turn out how my parents expected me to. You can't decide who your kid is. A lot of people who are religious hope their child will get their religion. There's no fucking guarantee your kid will have your religion. A lot of parents have different political views and values to their children. A lot of parents have different things they're attracted to in a person than their children. And so, like, if I had kids, I would be happy for them if they pick someone that makes their life good. And I would be happy for them if they are a functional, lovely person who makes someone's life better too. If they're in a mutually happy relationship that serves them, that's all I care about. I don't care who's the pitcher and who's the catcher. I don't care who's earning and who's supporting from the home. Sometimes you have couples where they both work and they have a fucking cleaner. And I think that's just as acceptable as a one in the home, one out the home. So, like, why do we need to allocate a specific number of providers? Like, there are polycules where, like, 3 of them work and the others just raise all of their million kids. And they're happy, and that can last for, like, 20, 30, 40 years. What's your ideal man and ideal relationship? Well, I don't have an ideal man. I'll lay that out for you. So, all of my exes look very profoundly different from each other, and we're completely different people. So that's the first thing. Secondly, I'm attracted to both men and women. So I have an ideal person, but not an ideal man. Thirdly, I'm not going to list hyper specifics because there are people who pretend to have all the attributes that I'm attracted to because they watch my stream just to see if I'll date them when that's not really who they are. So I'm not going to give people a blueprint to try and manipulate me. I think you should organically have the traits I'm attracted to. You shouldn't be putting them on or like pretending to have them. It shouldn't be a performance. But the more generic ones I think apply to lots of people and are very obvious is I would need emotional maturity from someone and emotional literacy. So, like, but 100% I refuse to date anyone who doesn't have at least one platonic female friend that they're not attracted to, have never asked out, and would never fuck even if they were given the opportunity. If you're a man, you better have platonic female friends. I will not accept a partner, a male partner with no female friends. Nope. Hard no. Hard fucking no. If a guy says, "Oh, can men and women be friends?" I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You're undateable. Because that means you're questioning whether or not you would have any incentive to engage with a woman if there wasn't the potential for pussy. If you need pussy to be dangled in order to tolerate women, you don't like women. You should go marry your bros. I know I'm coming second in this relationship because you're going to hang out with your friends and love them more than me. I'm not going to be your best friend. I'm just the most tolerable woman to you. Of course, men and women can be friends. Exactly. And only a prime example of that is ever gonna be spelunking and dunking anywhere. I'm about it. Cats are real friends. Cats are fucking family. Cats are fucking family. They are real friends. They have friendships, but they are family. But I think as well, I don't go for people who are vengeful. I think it's fine to get justice, but there's a difference between justice and vengeance. And people who don't know the difference, I can't handle. They're not going to be in my life. So if you punish people for wronging you, and you relish in their discomfort or unhappiness, nope, I'm going to pass. Because one day we might break up. Thoughts on autism people that can't make friends? I will give you, I have loads of autistic friends. So I don't think that autism precludes you from friendships. It just gives you different challenges. Everyone finds it hard to make friends. You just have a different flavor of trouble making friends. Trowby, thank you so much. I appreciate the prime. So, like, I refuse to acknowledge that autism is a barrier to friendships. That is, like, I think that it is just a different challenge, a different friendship challenge. Like, it's the same game, just with different rules. And I completely understand that sometimes autism can make it difficult for you to read emotions and know how to behave appropriately in a situation. Completely acknowledge that and acknowledge that that is incredibly fucking hard, right? In a world where adults really struggle to make friends, I get loads of fully grown adults, people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s going, how the fuck do I make friends? How does anyone do that? What the fuck do I do? Right? Bitch, you lick tits. You could lick tits, but I feel like more successful ways to handle the autism barrier in friendships is that there are demographics of people where it's easier to make friends with them if you have autism than an average person. People with ADHD often end up with a lot of people with autistic friends and vice versa. Maybe you are looking at the wrong friend group. Another thing that can be a barrier, you might be masking a lot. And your masking might be exhausting, and you might find it incredibly draining to interact with other people because they live by a different rule set, and it takes a lot of energy to perform that rule set, right? There are people who don't perform that rule set. There are people who have the same tendencies as you do, right? So if you're just like, I can't do small talk, well, good fucking news, bitch. There's like 5 billion people who don't do small talk. At least. You're not the only one. If that's the barrier, just find people who don't then. Also, there's therapy for people with autism, and I think a lot of autistic people don't know that yet, and I just want to put it out there. There are therapists for people with autism that can help you understand conversations and interactions in the way that makes sense to an autistic mind, so that you can perform the same things as everybody else just for different reasons and still get on fine. And so that you can have someone to fall back on when you're overthinking things, to bring you back to like a normal level of feeling, for average interactions and things like this, help you manage your emotions, help you manage your behavior and your beliefs so that it's less taxing to role play situations that you don't understand yet to help you understand them and know how to interact. So, like, you can go to a therapist who can help you with the bits you don't get yet. That is definitely an option. It's extremely useful. Yes, exactly. And I feel like of my friends who have autism, I know a few of them do have a therapist, and it's completely changed their life. Completely changed their life. Yeah, so like it's hard to make friends when you have Tourette syndrome too, just for different reasons than everybody else. And like, it can either be the reason you have loads of friends or the reasons why you're completely alone and have no one. It could be both. And from what I've seen in my experience of the people with autism in my life, autism can be both too. It's not that you have it, it's how you wield it. Can autistic people learn to read emotions, like how facial expressions mean and what? So so everyone with autism is different. It's a spectrum. I know someone who's very, very high on the spectrum, and to be honest with you, he's the best at reading emotions out of all of the people I know, oddly. Like, yeah, exactly. He's really good at it. And I guess I don't have the answer as to why. I never thought to really ask him. I'm not like gonna be sat there and going like, you can tell I'm sad, but you have autism. Like I wasn't like, what? My mind wasn't blown. But like maybe I could go to him and be like, there are autistic people in my chat and they were saying, wow, wait, we can learn to read emotions? How? And I'm like, you're really good at reading emotions. Like, was it a challenge for you? And if so, like, how did you handle it? Maybe I can ask for you. But also, employment is a really big challenge for people with autism. And there are guides and things on how to manage employment with autism. So you can do it better, stick at it longer, and not get used. Because a lot of autistic people can really lock in to a degree that neurotypical people, and especially people like me, with ADHD and stuff, not like one of the skills that autistic people can have, not always, but can have, is being able to really lock in on a task until it's complete and to finish it to a degree of excellence that most people would not. Whether it's a basic task or a really complex one, it doesn't really matter. The fact that you're able to apply 100% of your energy to it is a really hard thing for most people to do, right? And one of the things that happens is that autistic people, fuck nuggets, they tend to get used by their workplace because when they lock in and do this task, they can usually like dominate it, push everyone out of the way, do the whole thing from start to finish, and really apply 100% of their energy, whether they mean to or not. Whereas a lot of average people will take breaks, they'll apply 50% or 25% of their energy, and this means you get burnt out really, really fast compared to other people. And so, like, I saw a thing about a therapist literally telling someone with autism, you're getting burned out at work because you're applying more energy to the task than everybody else does. Would you say that all your coworkers apply 100% of their focus to everything they do? And they're like, no, they slack off. They take ages to do things unnecessarily. They only do the bare minimum for some tasks. And it's like, exactly. And are they burning out? No. So maybe we could dial you back from 100% effort to maybe only apply like 75% and see how things go for you. And then they came back the next week and they're like, holy fuck, that was like a million times better. Like, I could stick with this. Right? And so things like this are why therapists can be really handy, but why, like, I think everyone expects autistic people to just be a mess and incapable of everything, when actually they're actually can be incredibly capable of friendships, reading emotions, like managing things and working and all these things. It's just they just have to manage it differently. We've tailored the whole world to operate a specific way. That's the only problem. So everyone who falls outside of a typical mind, a typical healthy mind, everyone who falls outside of that falls behind because it's like, I don't put the jigsaw puzzle together that way. You know, I don't do this task that way. I can't do this task that way. And it's not like they're doing it wrong, they're just doing it differently. And there's no way to accommodate for that. Like, I could do the same work everyone else could at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't do it 9 to 5, but a lot of this shit I could do at 3 o'clock in the morning. Is there any infrastructure for that? Fuck no. I have autism and ADHD, and I'm great at reading emotions, while my 3 other brothers who have the TISM, they suck at reading emotions. I believe it depends on your mix of TISM. I don't know, because I know people who are just pure autism with no ADHD who read emotions. I think it's just more challenging, or there might be a different approach, but I don't think it's impossible for people with the TISM. I'm autistic, I'm an empath, I feel emotions of the person I'm connecting with, and never mind reading them. See, I think it's different for everyone. Being more focused and awake at nights is a sign of ADHD? Yes. Yes, it is. It definitely is. It doesn't mean you definitely have ADHD, but it's a big sign. If you see 3 a.m. most nights, you might want to look into other signs of ADHD. A lot of people also don't know that they have regular panic attacks. There's a fuck ton of you who have regular panic attacks and have no idea. Did you know that? I want to make a whole video on it. So, symptoms of a panic attack don't have to be hyperventilating. That's just the only one people know. It's like me with my bitch, my dick, my fuck, my fanny, with my Tourette's, right? So, like, everyone knows about the tics, but they don't really know about all of the other symptoms of Tourette syndrome. So, a lot of people with Tourette syndrome, they get missed because they're not shouting about their fanny all the time, right? A lot of you have anxiety, and it's fucking your health, and you have no idea that you have it. And, like, some examples of a panic attack. Have you ever felt really restless, where if you sit down, you can't focus on anything, but if you get up, you just want to sit down again because you're too tired to do anything, but you're too wired to do anything? You ever had that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's me all the time. Have you ever needed to poop before you go out? Not because you needed to poop 5 minutes ago, but now that you need to go outside, you suddenly need to have a poop. Yeah. There's a lot of these. Shall I Google them and read them to you? Unknown signs of a panic attack. Panic attacks often present with hidden or less known symptoms beyond rapid heart rate and fear, including disassociation, feeling detached and unreal, intense sudden chills or hot flushes, a choking sensation, numbness and tingling in the fingers, ringing in the ears, and a desperate, urgent need to escape the situation. Abdominal distress, intense stomach churning, cramping, and nausea. Choking or dry mouth, a feeling of inability to swallow, completely dry throat. Numbness or tingling, pins and needle sensations, particularly in the lips or fingers. Tearful, a feeling of not being able to stop crying. So, with the NHS official website, they literally say symptoms of a panic disorder. Anxiety is a feeling of unease. It can range from mild to severe. Can include feelings of worry and fear. Panic is the most severe form of anxiety. You may start to avoid certain situations because you fear that they'll trigger another attack. This can create a cycle of living in fear of fear. It can add your sense of panic and may cause you to have more attacks. So, it goes a racing heartbeat, feeling faint, sweating, nausea, chest pain, shortness of breath, trembling, hot flushes, chills, shaky limbs, a choking sensation, dizziness, numbness, pins and needles, dry mouth, a feeling of dread or fear of dying, a churning stomach, a tingling in your fingers, feeling like you're not connected to your body. That's the NHS website. So that confirms it. Like, I always think that, because the first one I read was AI, I was like, I'm going to double check with a more established source. The NHS, if you don't know, that's like our National Health Service. They run our hospitals and everything and manage everyone's healthcare. So, yeah, you may not know it, But you may have a panic disorder. A lot of people have symptoms that they don't know as a panic attack because they're not hyperventilating. You don't have to hyperventilate every time you panic for it to be a panic attack. And I just know there's someone listening to this who's like, oh fuck. What? Oh fuck. That their eyes are just becoming more and more aware as they listen to that list. You're welcome, bitch. Get to the doctor. You don't necessarily have to do meds about it, but sometimes meds are the only solution. Other times, it's just because you're like living off 12 coffees a day and a cigarette, or like 3 Monster cans a day. Sometimes it's because you don't move and your shrimpy ass is like croning and going meh over your fucking PC all day. And your body is just screaming for a healthy life. So like, it's not the end of the world and it might not be permanent. And sometimes it's not even just psychological. Sometimes it's just a physical symptom of like ill health. But just think about that next time you get anxiety poops. Hey, why you call out my shrimpy ass like that, sad? So if you want to improve your posture, if you're really struggling with that, one of the things that you can do is you can just raise your leg. Like, I'm not talking like raise your leg. Like, I'm literally talking about just put one, like, let me just adjust my trousers a little bit so you can see. Like, right. Tuck. Learn how to tuck, okay? I've got 1 foot tucked and 1 foot down. One down, one tucked. If you're like shrimping right now, tuck one leg in underneath you and see how much it changes your posture. Just a resting posture. I'm tucking. I'm tucked. Okay. Can you feel the difference to when you just sit with both down at the PC? Can you feel the difference in how it starts to correct a little bit of the issue? It really does straighten out the back. Exactly. It's one of many techniques. My friend who meditated taught me this, and it works. I agree, it's really comfy. Now I'm in a bit of a predicament because Pete has decided to sentry and sit under my chair now that I've moved it back. He's like, oh shit, we sitting? I'm like, no, we're not sitting. I'm so sorry, my love. Please move. Oh, oh, stop. I'm not rocking you, please. Move. That's it. Move. That's it. Good boy. So gently had to move him. He just wanted love. I'm sorry. Give him love now. Oh, you're not gonna see me for a minute. Excuse me. Chat said I have to love you. He's so cute. I love him so much. My hand oils make his coat really glossy. He's especially shiny. My mom, she used to call him Shiny Bum. He does. He has a very shiny, glossy coat. Because he gets stroked so much. Bitch! Whoop. Hey, do you want to help me with Wordle? Do you want to play Wordle real quick? Sure. Amazing. Thank you. All right then. Wait, where's me? Why am I here with you? What the fuck? What did I do? Where did I go? Okay, good. Great. Here we are. Whew, saved. What's your strategy? Go for, I always start with a word that starts with dick, which starts with dick, which starts with fanny, which starts with fanny, which starts with fanny. We could try fanny. It's fanny. But that's got 2 N's. my usual tactic is as many vowels in a word as possible, like people or something, you know? So I can rule out the vowels. The vowels are very helpful, but we can go with Fanny. We should never go with Fanny again. This was a terrible approach. So it's not going to be people, but I could use people regardless just because it has so many vowels. But now, like, what's one with many, many vowels and a Y at the end? No, it doesn't have N. No, it's not money. Potty, pinky, party, punny. What the fuck is punny? Puny? Is that how you spell puny? Oh my god. It doesn't have an N, exactly. A lot of those had N's in. Dusty. Dusty's good. It doesn't have a lot of vowels in it, though. Dusty or dirty? I want to do dirty before dusty. Dirty. Oh, we got a D. Fuck, I should have done dusty. But we now know it doesn't have a T or an R. Or T, so it's not drafty. Dopey, doggy, diary. Oh, diary is a good one, but it doesn't have an I in it. Dopey. Dopey might be the play, you know. I like dopey. Who said that? You're good. I like you. Dowry. Dowry, you know what? Dopey or dowry? I think we're gonna go dopey just because not a lot of words have W in. So it's not really gonna help as much as ruling out these letters. Oh. Doesn't have E, otherwise I'd go dozy. Yeah, it could still be. No, it can't be dowry because R is a rat. Like, no, dowdy. Dowdy! Could be dowdy. You all want to go with doggy. But dowdy rules out more letters. I think. Does it? Dowdy was the winner. You're so fucking smart. Congratulations. I'm so happy. Should we play, I swear, I'm gonna change, because I've seen people accidentally reveal shit. Like, I saw a guy accidentally, show his Brazzers subscription on here, and I've been so proud of it. So you're just gonna look at my face while we try another game. Because there are more. You could try spelling bee. Let's try spelling bee. So basically, the rule here is you gotta make as many words as you can with these letters. Okay? So, for example, bald. That's one. Blizzard. That's two. Bird. That's three. Wait, missing a letter? Oh, it has to have L. How did I not notice that and still get this right? Okay. No, blade can't have. Can't have build. Lard. Lard's a good one. Oh my god, lard is a really good one. Lard. I wouldn't have got that one. I'm a bit too vegan. Liar. Perfect. Now you're doing it. Blizzard. Oh, blizzard's a huge one. Fuck yeah. Rail. Nice. Drill. Hey girl, how are you doing? Good suggestion, I didn't spot drill. Bald. I think that was my first one. I immediately noticed bald. Are you under me? I can't recenter myself. Dyslexia. Fuck you, I'm disabled. How dare? Billiard. Oh my god, that is such a good word. How the fuck did you come up with that? Billiard. Nice. Wait, you're not a girl, you're an imposter. You're still welcome though. I think we got bird, didn't we? Did I not put bird in? Bird? Missing is. Oh yeah, we can't because it doesn't have L. It has to be an L word. T Pixel, hello, sweetheart. Thanks for the 54 month. I am very well, thank you. You want to come play? We're all guessing these words. Bal. I think Bal is a name, not a word. I could try it for you. Bal. No. Brazil. That is actually one. Well done. Bali. That's a place, isn't it? I don't think that counts as a word. Blatant. Doesn't have a T. There's no T for blatant. Dial. Dial. Dial is one. Nice. Braille. Fuck yeah, that's a really good one. Lad like pirate. Lad. Too short. We can't have lad? Fuck you. I guess it can't be a 3-letter word. Two L's in ballad. B-A-L-L-A-D. Nice! Layer. How did we get liar but not layer? Nice. Perfect. Raid? Missing a letter. What? Oh, missing the L. Railed? Oh, don't have E. Bridal. Fuck yeah, that's such a good one. Bridal. Drizzle to the fizzle. I mean, there's no fucking E! Layered. Is that a word? Layered? No, it's not a word, I'm afraid. But piss. Radar. Doesn't have an L in. Did we not do laid already? Laid? Like getting laid? Nice. Good spot. Drill? How did we not see drill sooner? Holy shit. Oh, already fell. Bird. I think we got bird. Oh no, it doesn't have L. We tried labia. How did you come up with labia? How was Peaks the one to suggest labia out of all of you? Radial. Wait. Radial. You genius. That was such a good one. Libra. Is that a word? Or is that a name? Not a word. Yeah, it doesn't count as a word. Ideal. No L. No, there's no E. Alibi? Alibi. Holy fuck. Did we do dial? Yeah, we did. Liberal has an E in it, I'm pretty sure. Ball. How did we not get ball? Ribbled? What the fuck is a ribbled? What the fuck is a ribbled? Airball? Airball. That was amazing. Everyone keeps suggesting Brazil, but I'm pretty sure Brazil isn't a word. It's a name, isn't it? Yeah, it's not in the world list. Drab. Drab. Huh. Arid. Missing a letter. Damn it. Dill. Is that a word? It is! What the fuck does dill mean? We got lizard. Right? Or did I just not put it in? Did I just assume I put lizard and never put it in? Lizard. Yeah, I already found it. Okay, good. We got bridal already. It's a good one. Bill is a name. But it's also you get the bill, so I guess it could count. Oh, nice. Genius. You found 21 words worth 85 points. Nice. Well, aren't you good, chat? I would have never found that many on my own. Just showing some love, won't say much, but I think you're beautiful and interesting. On that, I have a question. What's one thing on your bucket list that doesn't have to be high, just not too low, please? I don't know. I've always wanted to go to Australia. I've always wanted to go to Australia. I think that's one of the very few things I've ever aspired to do. Yeah, because like it's beautiful there and it has like most of the world's wildlife. It feels like it has beautiful species and everything. I think it's really cool there. So I really want to go to Australia before I die. Do I have anything else that I want to do with my life? I guess one of my goals I haven't done yet is I want to donate to my local food bank. I haven't done that yet, but I keep meaning to. Like, not just money, I want to bring them a fuck ton of food. And I definitely want to have a cat before I die. It's just hard when you have so many bunnies. But yeah, we can play more games together if you like. I thought that was a good answer. Mini crossword. The crossword. You want to do a crossword with me? Okay. So, can you see it okay? Let me see if I can make myself smaller. There we go. So, Uber alternative. Dare I say goth or punk? It could be goth or punk. The class of 26 at the beginning of 26. What? Hospital triage specialists. Number 8. What? Lyft. Uber alternative. Oh! Why didn't it let me put L in? Oh yeah, it did. Or taxi. Taxi might be more universal. Wait, does it gray out when you've done it? When you've got it? I think it grays out, so I think we can know. Order to relax, 19. Why can't I find 19? Lee? Leave? No, one letter short. A to cross nurse. 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 Nurse is too short. Is 2 down Axel? Wheel assembly component. Holy fuck. I think you might be right. Axel. How do you spell Axel? Axel? Did it gray out? Yes! You got it! You got it! So 1 down to 20. So what's 20? What's the clue for 20? A group of reps. CEO? No. Set? Oh, a set. Yeah, you're right. 14. 14 is 1 acting on impulse. 41 is gas. Where's 41? Did you even see the clue? How did you know that? Are you cheating? Yeah, you're right. It's totally gas. 42 is belittle. 42. I love you. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. Bitch! I can't find 42. 42. Belittle. To mock. M-O-C-K. 1 letter short. Could be mock. Ridicule. No. Tease. T-E-A-S-E. Could it be tease? Of course I get that one. Bitch. 51 is Mahal. 51. Palace in Hindi. Mahal. Oh, you're so smart. I would have never got that. Pretend you're a lifesaver. 51. 50. Fuck, I can't find it. M-A. Wait, does it go that way or down? Down. Mahal. $52 Avon. Avon. There you go. 29 down hats. 29 down. Why am I so bad at finding these? 29 down hats. Oh. The opposite of nah. 29. No, 26. Yes? Doesn't yes have 2 S's? Or am I wrong? Am I not? Or okay? It's yeah. Oh, of course it's yeah. I think we've ascertained that you're all better at this than me. Sir gets it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. 25. Let's see. 25. Email status. And you said it was... What did you say it was? I've forgotten. Bitch! 25 down is what? Sent? Maybe. Yes, you got it right. "34 across is Inu." 34 across. 34 across is Inu. What the fuck is Inu? I never heard that. Oh, you know what? I reckon I would have gotten that, funnily enough. 30 across is meat. Yeah, you're right. So what's 24? 24 looks long as fuck. College faculty head. See, one of these has to be wrong because SY? College faculty head. Oh, wait, no. It's down. Damn. Dean. "58 down is IUD." 58. 58. What the fuck is 58? I should have brought my glasses for this challenge. IUD. 24 is 4. I feel like I'm gonna frustrate the fuck out of all of you because just finding the numbers is really hard for me and I don't. You're just screaming, "It's there, it's there!" I don't know where. What the fuck is 24, chat? "43 across would be woke." I've just given up. 43 across would be woke. 46. Seminar head informally. Boss? Would it be boss? Do you reckon it's boss? Wait, why did they all go yellow all of a sudden? Did I do it wrong? Ewok, 40 down. Let's see if you're right. Ewok. What you'd need to press to make the starred clues and their answers match. I think 46 down is wrong. Okay, I can delete it. But you have to help me with what solution it is. Guns N' Roses guitarist, 47. I wonder why when I click this particular one, it does that. Guns N' Roses, 47. Oh, hello. This is Review Tech USA. Hope all is well. It's good to see you again. It's been so many years. I hope you're doing well too, sweetheart. Yeah, I haven't seen you in ages. Slash, yes. You reckon what? I don't know any of the people in Guns N' Roses. I don't know them by name. Izzy Stradlin. We can try it. Izzy. Nope. Fuck. Wait, but then there's N and K. Hmm. $62 across is radian. I love you. You know what? I think you might be right. Radium. What's 65 then? TikTok phenomena. I should know this. I'm way too qualified to not know this. TikTok phenomena? Dance? Maybe DANCE? No. Because even if that was wrong, it still wouldn't be enough letters. Viral? VIRIL. That would still wouldn't be enough for AL. Trends? TRENDS? Trends. Bitch! 47 across is question mark. $47 across. Oh my god, you could be right. But then you're so good at this. What does IUD mean? Flo, you are so lucky not to know. Anubis? You reckon this one's Anubis? 57? What's the clear? Jackal-headed Egyptian deity. Oh! Fuck, you might be right. Anubis. What do you for? Container at an airport checkpoint. For short. Container at an airport. For short. An airport checkout. Anyone been to an airport checkout? Bag and bin. Four-letter word. Love you. Are you wearing contacts? No. Why? TSA bin? That doesn't fit either. You reckon it's X-ray? I've forgotten where it was. Do you reckon it's an X-ray? Alta 52 across. Are you allowed numbers? I don't think you're allowed numbers in a crossword. Okay, we can move back to this one. Retail outlet with a store map at its entrance. 54 down. What retail outlet has a map at the entrance? A mall? I guess, yeah, it does. We don't have as many of those in the UK, though. 61. Fixtures at sports bars. Okay, I don't go to sports bars. What's a fixture at a sports bar that we wouldn't have in a typical bar? TV? But that doesn't... Maybe? Huh. Okay. Maybe you're right. 64 VL. Try a new course. Say... Because the only VL word I know isn't even a word, it's Vlad. Yeah, Vlad is the only VL word I know of. It can't be Vlad, right? A vlog? Maybe. I don't think that fits the clue, though. $24 cross is dollar symbol, I'm guessing. It's 4 years, but 4 on keyboard when shifted is the dollar symbol. I don't know what that means. 47 down is quart. 47 down. Hang on. 47 down. 47 down. But wouldn't that ruin 52's guess? I mean, you might be right, but then what the fuck is an ouvon? Alta. Wait, what the fuck is an alta? 52, what's the clue? What the fuck is an alta? Beauty supply chain. Oh, is it a brand? 63 might be tan. What's 63? Tan, T-A-N. Kind of line at the beach. Yeah, you're right. That is a kind of line at the beach. What's 66? Guileful. What? Sly. Okay, we can try sly. What did you, what you'd need to press to make the start clues and their answers match? See, I was stuck on that one earlier. $47 across is Izzy Stradlin. Didn't we guess that before and it didn't fit? $24 is dollar symbol. Let's have a look. Bitch! Look at me struggle on set 24. Is this what happened last time? Did I look for 24 and not find it and go, I give up? There we go. 24 is dollar symbol. $23 is matter. Underscore matter. Dark matter? That's my guess anyway. Order to relax. Holiday? Holida? No. Holiday. No. It could also be antimatter, but A-N-T-I. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that does lean. Uh-oh. You're thinking matter, not matter. 23 across. So, is antimatter... Oh, you're right. Maybe it is antimatter. That feels like a trick one. The clue isn't matter, it's matter. Yeah, but like, is antimatter spelled without 2 T's? 13 down is steel. Bitch! Wait, criminally good deal. Maybe. But that means that anti is not the word. So if that's the correct word, then 23 is not anta. Anta is the word. But that would make it steal, which isn't criminal. Alma? Almata? Alamata. Oh, I keep not realizing I'm half on the screen. I can't move because P is centering me. It's quite the predict. 19 is tease. I think I did tease, didn't I? I swear I wrote that already. Wait, I put tease somewhere else. Do you think they'd have it in here twice? Because it's 42. 53 is grand. Let's see if you're right. G-R-A-N-D. Grand. What was the clue for that? Swell. Yeah, you're so right. 45. Fuck off. Smooth and glossy. And so far we've got Annie. Smooth and glossy. $45 down. Shiny? There's not enough room for SH up here. $39 down is Abby? Well, that would mean that this one isn't T's. 45 across is spokes. Let's see. S P K E S. So what does that make 36? Wheels. Uses. Nice. You're so smart. 35 is personification of victory. Why is Nike the personification of victory? What does Nike actually mean? Is it just a brand? 34. Avoids injury. Say Greek goddess of victory. Is okay. You think it's just is okay? What's 55? Garlic relative. 55 is a garlic relative? Oh, like onion? O-N-I. Oh, no, it's not onion. Leek? But then this is SLK. Drink with Jamal and Nigori variants. Sake. But that would make 54. Mala. If 57 is sake, we've got a few things wrong. $54 across is ill. Ill. I-L-L. IKEA. Yeah, 54 down is IKEA. Oh, that makes so much sense. But what's 61 across? Hmm. Fixtures at a sports bar. So we still haven't got that one right. $54 down is IKEA. Yeah, but we wrote IKEA down. Bar? A bar is a fixture at a sports bar. But BAR, that missing a lesser. Oh, it's down. BAR. But that would make 67 rake. $64, try a new course, say veer. Maybe veer is a right one. I am bad at this. 56 down is lore. See, it could be, but then... Wait, no, 61 down is fine because it's TV. Sorry, I'm dumb. It's hello, my little boy. Hello. Oh wait, I can reposition my chair because you moved. There we go. Watch your toesies. Watch your toesies. Dunk. Liar. Which one are we looking for here? Which one is liar? 56 down is liar. Why are liar? Like that? Instead of lore? Okay, cool. So what is 44 across? 60 across is shift key. 60 across. 60 across. Shift key. You're so good! Fucking hell! I would never have gotten that one. 44. Big innits in frozen deserts. Is that deserts or desserts? Big innits in frozen desserts. 50 down is nest. Okay, but what was 53? Because surely it's not gained. Bitch! $37 across could be open parentheses because the answer to the clue is 9 and shift plus 9, and on the keyboard is brackets, so you have the wrong answer at 29 down, I think. Okay, so 37 across is open parentheses. Open holy shit. 32 down is crayon. Nice. What the fuck is 44 though? We need to do 29 down. Yeah, okay, so what was 29 down? Holiday procedures. Wouldn't that be like pack or something? Eves? Oh yeah, Eves! Very good. $16 across is parrot. Bitch! I love you. 32, China. China. Ermine. That would make this one ermine, right? Its fur might trim a royal robe. Yeah, ermine. "21. Back home in a way." What? Ermine with an E? Oh, I can't spell for shit. Thank you. 18 down is stop. 18 down. 18 down. We'll give it a go. Stop. What's the clue for it? Quit it. Yeah, I think that works. 17 across is peers. "53 across is Nito? 53 across. Maybe. Neato? 06 down, prof. 7 ahead. Maybe a prof? Maybe a professor? Nest? Mahal? Satiny? Yeah, that works! That all works! Well done! Holy shit! You fixed it. 21 is... bitch! Back home in a way. I'm still stuck on that one, if I'm honest. What about 6? What's the clue for 6? Majestic. You think 19 is ease? But it's so short. Oh, dreamt. And toothbrush handle. What? Oral B. Oh! Nice. A cranberry tinged cocktail. Okay, it's at ease, thank you. Cosmo. Nice. Of course you get that one, Bryce. 8 is fuel economy. But if it's ER, it's 3 though. I'm confused. EPA. Okay. Oh, ER docs. Right? Is that what you were saying? Yeah, ER docs. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna leave you to stare at it for a second because I need to excrete some fluids. But I'll be right back, okay? Keep thinking. And I'm back. Thank you so much for waiting. Have you figured them all out? Yes. Okay. 7 down is Sansa. S-A-N-S. Regal, 28. No, 6 is Regal. $28. Where's 28? Here. 28 was, I've lost it. 28 was Tapper. What was 27? Bruise. 27 down is Slog. Okay. 27 is Steeps. 5 down is Many Fast Pitches. $44 is In It. But what's 5? 44. But that doesn't, what? 44 down is TSA bin. Huh. 44 across is TCBY. Really? Is that right? 17 across is plus sign. Packed. Which one's packed? Number 4 is important contacts. 38 down is supposed to be packed. 38 down. So I was wrong about T's. 21 across is T's again. Four is ins. Okay. What is 3 down? Strike from a list. X out. 14 is acting on impulse. Caps. It's axon? Oh, you're right, it's axon. So 5 down. Many fast pitches. What's 5 down? Is Spiels. The puzzle is filled, but at least one square is a miss. Fiddlesticks. Okay, so some of these are not correct. This is even harder. 39 down is Abby Jacobs. Why does it play jazz? I don't want jazz. It's like, you won, here's some jazz. So that took us 42 minutes? That did not feel like 42 minutes, holy shit. Did you like playing that with me? I've never done that with you before, I don't think. Jenny is dealing with a stalker that tried to break into our hotel room right now. As in right this second? Is she alright? Alright. Wait, what? Is she okay?
Yeah, he knocked the door, asked me if I had 5 minutes. I didn't answer, and he tried to open the door. That's when I started to freak out. I was like, what the fuck? Like, as soon as I was done with streaming. So obviously he was a viewer waiting for me to end, and as soon as I end, he came to my room, like, knocking, saying if I have time, 5 minutes. I didn't answer. He tried to turn the door, like, moving back and forth. Like, try to break in or something, dude. Shit. He's probably watching right now, too. That's the thing. I called the police.
Is there a fire alarm you can trigger? Hang in there.
I mean, is there a phone in the hotel? She can ring the staff.
This is like middle of nowhere mountain hotel. And then usually hotels like this, like, reception is not 24 hours. Like, they go to sleep.
Do you know this person?
How the fuck would she know the person? Like, it's a knock through the door. Like,
You mean the
what?
stalker?
Why do people ask dumb
Yeah.
questions in these situations? It's so
If I knew the
frustrating.
person, I wouldn't be reacting like this.
You know, I did wonder about this because I watched Ginny earlier and I could see her walking towards her hotel room. I didn't stay tuned in. I saw her walking towards her hotel room and she was in the hotel and she was walking along a corridor and there was two men ahead of her. And I was thinking to myself, I hope she's not going to stream herself going into her hotel room because then her stream will know where she's staying and be able to knock and harass her. But I thought she wouldn't make that mistake. Like, she's been streaming for a long time, so I just clicked away. I didn't check. But I do wonder if they just saw her go into a hotel room. Is that what happened?
He's locked in the building. That's the thing. He cannot leave because I locked the door.
Yeah. Well, I hope she's okay, and I'll keep the stream open. But, like, I hope she's okay. I do think that, like, whenever I'm streaming, this is why I don't stream myself traveling a lot, because I'm worried that, like, someone will figure out what hotel room I'm in and things like this. It's always a huge worry. Why are people so weird? Because they're lonely, and because some people enjoy feeling intimidation and drama, and some people are just cruel. Like, some people just thrive on being the antithesis of a situation as well. The police just told her to call if it happens again. Of course they did. Of fucking course they did. So, I don't know, I have some devices that help me with this. There's a special lock you can put over the door. It's like a door, a lock you can put over the door that means that even if they get through the lock that's actually in the hotel door, it creates a chain lock, and it's a travel thing that you can take with you that's made of metal. But like, yeah, unfortunately, people are really reluctant to intervene. Police are reluctant to intervene. Staff can be as well. Hopefully, she's told the staff about what's going on. She just said the staff isn't 24 hours. Fuck. God, that's such a horrible position to be in. Yeah, I hope she's okay. I really do. But yeah, someone just says this isn't a lesson to you that you should always take security with you when you go to stay or when you go traveling. And it's like, I don't know what fantasy world you live in, but if you had to pay more to be at your job than you earn from your job, you're not going to be able to bring security with you everywhere. Like, security is expensive. And so, like, what are they going to do? Stay in your hotel room with you? A lot of people who do security as a job are not the kind of people that you want sleeping in your hotel room with you. If they're across the room or in another, like, adjacent hotel room, you have to pay for their 24-hour service, and you have to pay for their hotel room as well. And it's like, most female streamers are not making enough money from a stream to be able to pay for that. You're basically saying that women cannot travel and cannot have live streams and things like that if you're just like, yeah, they have to have 24 hours security. And most women who are in this position do not have like a big enough following to subsidize that. Like, a lot of the women who go through this are smaller streamers. We heard the guy's voice asking if she's streaming and if she wants to spend an hour with him when she gets free. I hope she manages to film his face. I hope at some point she manages to film his face. I hope this is absolutely life-ruining for this guy. What an asshole. Because he'll know. They act innocent, but they know what they're doing. They absolutely do. But yeah. I'm gonna log out now, so maybe we should raid Ginny and you're gonna watch and and look out for her and comfort and support her. Because I feel like having an audience right now is a form of protection. I think that's part of the reason why it's good that she's still streaming, because she's in a situation where witnesses and documented evidence is probably really useful. Yeah, so I'll raid for you guys and send you over. Yeah, and I'll keep an eye on the stream too. Unfortunately, I've been in her position quite a few times, and it's not fun, so I just wish that the police were more useful. I really do. If she has mods, hopefully they can report it to the police too and report their concerns. I mean, if their mods could send the link to the stream, if her mods can send the link to the stream, maybe that will be helpful too, because it means that the police can keep an eye on the situation and see if anything transpires. You know, one of them might be at the office just taking calls or whatever, and they can have the stream open. This might actually be really useful if they're not willing to come out unless something more happens. At least they'll know instantly when something happens. Maybe you could give her these suggestions. I don't know if she'd see that from me right now. She's live streaming. I doubt she's checking her DMs, and I think I might be drowned out if I try to speak in her chat right now. So, but I really, really do hope she's okay. I mean, fuck. If she was traveling in the UK, I'd just go out and see her. I'd be like, I'm coming. But yeah, give her my love and support. Bye now.